What's up, guys? Jake Shields. I'm here with Ari Shaffir. Just picked you up at the airport for.
Yeah,
You're here for
yeah. Dude,
skate.
no one else picks up their own guests in the airport. Rogan's never picked me up from the
No.
airport.
Well, the reason is I knew what happened is you would start partying, and I want to get you. You're here for a thing called Skank Fest,
Yeah.
which is really misleading because I went a few years ago and it was mostly dudes, not very many skanks.
Okay, here's what you understand. We're the skanks.
Oh, you guys are the skanks.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
That's a misconception. It's
Not-
not that these skanks that are around. It's we're the skanks of society.
This makes so much more sense. 'Cause I
Yeah.
went there a few years ago and there was hardly any skanks.
It's gross dudes also.
It's all dudes.
Yeah.
It's
all
very
dudes.
similar to the fight audience.
Yeah, similar to that, the ICP crowd.
ICP. Insane clown posse. You don't know. Oh my God. There's probably an overlap between the juggalos and the.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the
There's got to be
dread-
some overlap.
There'll probably be a few of the. What do they call them? The juggalos. Probably be a few there.
I think the real joy in life is the overlap, people. You know,
Yeah.
just I love fighting and porn. I love this, whatever. I'm in both worlds.
Yeah, I get recognized like nonstop at Skankfest, so there's obviously a big overlap between
Yeah.
the comedy, at least.
And we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Rogan, it's got to be
I
Rogan.
think it's got to be Rogan or a big piece of it because he's so into fighting and comedy. So I think his audience gets a big crossover.
Yeah, and then a lot of the comedians got into fighting either through Rogan or we're just drawn to it.
Yeah, an insane amount of comedians watch fighting. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Which is great for me. I can get tickets to like all these great shows and meet all these comedians. And I
Bro,
think the
same.
comedians like meeting
Oh,
the
same
fighters.
the
and
other
yeah,
way.
yeah, so it's
I've sat front row at so many UFCs. I've
Mhm.
seen so many like massive fights and gotten access to like after Chael lost to Anderson in the fifth round.
oh yeah, that fight was crazy.
It
That
was
Were
crazy.
you with that one in
Yeah.
Oakland, right?
Where was it?
I think it was in Oakland, wasn't it, or was that somewhere else?
Fuck, I'm not sure anymore where it was. I know it was America.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm staying next to Randy Couture afterwards. The stadium's cleared out. We're all just talking, and everyone's talking about something else. And me and Randy just kept every like 2 minutes, one of us just go, like we'd be wrapping our head around it. She's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got access to shit like that from
Front
nothing on
row,
my
yeah.
own.
And that fight was epic. It was Chael Sonnen just was beating on Anderson Silva for
He
4
figured
rounds.
him out. He's the first guy to figure
Yeah,
him
and this
out.
guy was like considered one of the best to ever do it. And
Yeah.
then the last like 2 minutes, he was put in a triangle and finished. It was just like, oh my God.
I was like, what the fuck? Yeah,
Yeah, one of those
an
moments.
untouchable guy. And then Chael just figured it out. You can't beat wrestling.
Yeah, but then Chael like lost right at the end, so that must eat him up.
Yeah, that must eat him up.
Imagine. So, yeah. So how many you've done Skankfest for a few years, right?
Every year they've had it. We started in Brooklyn.
Mhm.
Did a couple years there. Then we went to Houston one time.
Mm-hmm.
This is the third year in Vegas.
Yeah,
It rules.
So almost last 2 years. No, it's actually fun. Like I said, I made fun of being too many dudes, but it's a lot of fun. It's the comedians.
But also, too many dudes are like far away. It's just like
Mhm.
have fun, be an idiot. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, everyone's just having fun, good time. Like you're probably performing nonstop, doing podcasts. That's why I'm like, I better get you from the airport and knock
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah. Dude, when you had a chicks, it just changes the environment. We used to do these mushroom trips to like Joshua Tree and have like
Oh, yeah.
6, 7, 10 comics go. And then Kim Kong was always, how come there's no women? I want to go. I'm a comic. We're like, bro, it's gonna change the vibe.
Yeah.
One chick changes the vibe completely.
Yeah, I don't really like doing mushrooms with chicks.
No,
Any
she's
other
cool.
drugs
I
do,
love her.
yeah.
If it was me and her together, maybe
Yeah.
it's fine. But someone's gonna try to fuck. It's just gonna get weird,
Mhm. Like
and we're all
Molly,
gonna feel like, oh, should I not be saying this?
no, it's so different mushrooms with the guys versus with girls. Like
Yeah.
Molly's the opposite. I have to have girls with me, but mushrooms
Yeah,
is
Molly,
so
you
much
gotta
better
have.
with.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you're gonna be hugging a bunch of dudes.
the hugs are happening. So it's up to you what your environment's
Yeah.
gonna be.
So yeah, so hopefully, yeah. So I'm not doing Molly unless there's women around. I don't want to hug a bunch of men.
Yeah.
Joshua Tree, how do you not get lost on mushrooms? Because I got lost sober out there.
Mentally lost?
Like just when you start walking through the area, it all looks the same. Went and hiked there, like 100-degree weather, and got like lost one time.
Yeah, we try
With
to
no
hike,
water?
we try to hike overnight.
Okay.
So we usually try to go full moon.
Mhm.
Because it's all like pretty flat there, and then little big rock formations, but like individual, but yeah, full moon. You don't need a flashlight,
Mhm.
and you just like on a clear day, which almost all of them are out there.
Yeah.
You see shadows, and it's just like you're just good. But then it's like if you do get lost, you're like, dude, sun's coming up soon. I'm fucked. It
Yeah,
gets
no, it's kind of
hot.
scary. 'Cause I've only been there once. It was like 100 degrees. And I decided to go for a hike with no water. And then I got like, wasn't that lost, but it was lost enough in the heat for a few miles where I'm starting to be like, this could be bad. And I was trying to decide, do I run or walk? But luckily I found my way back.
Yeah. What's his name that had his motorcycle breakdown?
Oh, yeah, there was a fighter that died. His name's slipping. What's his name? God, unfortunately, I can't think of his name, but there's a UFC fighter who was
Yeah.
a former champion even who died.
Maybe. Yeah, he's like, ah, type
Yeah, he
motorcycle,
was.
but let me fix it. He goes, oh, I can't fix it. Then he's like, oh shit.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm nowhere. No one knows I'm here.
Yeah.
Dead.
No, when you're out in the heat, that's the only time when I was lost. I started no hot, no water, I was sweating like crazy. I started running. And I'm like, wait, running's gonna actually
Running's
make it
way
worse. So then,
worse.
like, all right, let's stop and walk and
Yeah.
get out of here.
Yeah.
So, what's up with that great uh, beard you have going?
I'm just trying to fuck around, trying to
You,
enjoy the
you
summer.
almost get like a Hitler stash going.
Yeah, from this side, right? It's like it peeks out. I don't know how to like do it where it doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's
I
up?
was just like, I just did it one night for a live podcast. I was doing one, Are You Garbage?
Mhm.
This podcast, and they had it live under the Gramercy, and so I was like, I'm gonna fuck around. I'll wear a weird suit and do it. And then I saw Norman. We had a birthday dinner with Sam Earl before, and he's like, "What's this?" I'm like, "It's for the Are You Garbage." He goes, "I'm on that. I'm not doing anything weird." I'm like, "Yeah, but you have jokes."
You don't got jokes.
I've just been faking it for
Yeah,
a while. I
yeah,
just have powerful friends.
yeah. You're actually one of my favorite comedians, to be
Oh, that's
honest. I've
funny.
been I've been watching you for like 15 years,
Yeah,
maybe
I
a
used to
long
come to those
time.
shows we used to do all the time. You would come a lot.
Because Joe Rogan used to come to San Francisco all the time, and you opened for him for
Oh, god
years,
damn,
and
that's
you'd
right. Yeah,
always just kill it. Something I like about Joe is he always brings killer openers. I think
brought
some
killers.
comedians don't want to bring killers to open for them because they don't want to like kill their own spotlight, but Joe just stacks it with
It's
killers.
crazy. Joe is looking to get buried.
No, it's crazy. Like when I
He's
see
like,
him in
hurt me.
Austin, he just stacks it with just killers. I'm like, damn, I can't believe he's just stacking the
He goes
best
on. You're
comedians.
supposed to go on if you're headlining after 40 minutes of show,
Mhm.
30, 40 minutes of show, and then you go on. Joe goes on an hour and 40 minutes of show, and it's Shane, Norman, Ron White, Tony, me.
Yeah.
It's just like,
No, last show I saw him in Austin, it was just killer after killer. I think it was like well, the first time I saw him, I didn't know who Tony was yet, and
yeah,
Tony just killed it. I'm like, this guy is hilarious, and he
yeah,
just even the very opener was that Asian guy he had for a minute,
Hans Kim,
Hans, and it
yeah,
was like he was brand new, but he was still just killing it.
yeah. Yeah, he was always good at that. Just he would like see somebody good and goes, I like you. You're funny. I see
Mhm.
something in you. Sometimes I look back at those clips. I'm like, I sucked. He goes, no, you were good. You were just
Mhm.
young.
Yeah, you were always good. When did you get into comedy? Or always good when I started seeing you? Like, what
Yeah,
got you into comedy?
just running away from real life.
Probably fighting, yeah.
Yeah, where it was like, all right, I could see down the barrel of 40 years working in places with like those long strip lights. What are they
Mhm.
called?
Yeah,
Halogen.
oh, that just sounds terrible. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like in an
sitting in
office.
a desk like fat
Yeah,
ladies.
yeah.
You can't like make jokes and call them fat and just
No
say,
way. I'm smart. I could get a good job. I could do well, enough. But then like, oh, that seemed terrible. And then it was like, let me try to do stand up.
yeah, did
And
it
then I fell in love with it, and then it was over. And then I started didn't make money actually for like 5 years, but like,
felt like fighting.
yeah, right.
That's probably part of the overlap. I guess it's just kind of crazy careers. You have to be a little fucked up to want to do it. You have
Yeah,
to.
due to my old podcast, I interviewed. We do like a theme each time. I stopped that one, but I had Greg Jackson on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and we'd always talk about. He'd ask me questions about stand up, like real specific questions, like what do you do when like you get a heckler? What do you do when like it's not going as well as you
Hmm.
expected? And I'm like, why do you ask me these detailed questions? He goes, there's an overlap between all art forms,
Hmm.
martial arts, stand up. Those aren't real art forms, but they're still into the art world. And he goes, if you can figure out something that's in one, you can probably apply it to the other.
That's probably true.
Yeah,
Yeah, stand-ups to me seems a little bit frightening. There was
it's a battle every time.
yeah, there were some guys doing comedy fight specials. What was his name? I think like
Fight
Adam.
what?
They were doing fighters to come on to do comedy. I think it was this guy. What's this comedian's name?
Adam
I think
Hunter.
like Adam Hunter,
Yeah,
exactly. And he
yeah,
asked
he
me if I
rules.
wanted to do one of those. I'm just like, yeah, I don't think so. That's kind of
It's so funny getting your fucking brain smashed in is
mhm.
less fearful than
I've
than
just done
getting
it
up
so
and having
long.
people
Yeah,
stare at you.
just because I've done it so long.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't say less, just different because it's still a lot of pressure, but you just get used to it.
Yeah.
Do you ever get nervous doing comedy anymore, or no? It's just like nothing nowadays.
Yeah, once in a while I just did a special. I taped a special and it was like I'm just fine. I've done enough of these
Hmm.
where I know what I'm doing. I'm helping set up. I'm like in the pocket and stuff. When I did my old storytelling show, this is not happening. And I remember one time like seeing one of the comics pacing. It was like the third year I was doing it, and I'm like checking the lighting. I was like, all right, yep, let's start it. And I was like, oh damn, I'm not nervous at all.
Hmm.
But this special, I started stuttering the first like 5 minutes,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh fuck, I guess
So
I'm
much
nervous.
pressure, yeah. Because if you fuck that up,
Yeah.
that's like getting
Well, yeah,
air.
like a few tapings, but it was still like, damn, it's
Okay, so you can tape them a couple times if you fuck something up. That's good.
yeah, yeah. That's why you don't just do one for a special. It
No,
just
that
looks
makes
like one.
sense.
Sometimes you'll see in the audience, like, wait, that person, there was a fat white chick
Hmm.
there. Now it's like
Switch
a
it
thin
out.
black dude.
Now it's a big, yeah. Now it's a big
Yeah.
black girl,
Yeah.
or a black guy with a big fat
Yeah.
white girl.
Yeah. More likely.
That's, yeah, the more likely scenario.
Hate speech, ban
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Speaking of hate speech, I think I got 3 of my episodes removed from
God
YouTube for hate speech
damn.
already.
That sucks.
Yeah, so yeah, people might want to start watching on Rumble because I'm already editing them and anti-Semitic. That's why I brought you on a Jew to try to show that.
That you like.
See, I have a Jewish friend.
See? That's yeah. I have a Jewish friend. I have a black friend.
I have one, a black. I brought a black guy on too. No gay guy shit.
You gotta put
I think
those
2
on.
black guys already.
Damn, that's all of them.
All the ones I know, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that we used to come all the time in San Francisco at Cobb's. What fun times.
Yeah, it was.
And we'd all go out to eat afterwards.
Yeah, it was before we were talking about it on the way over how like Joe wasn't that big yet. We would just walk around San
You
Francisco.
also were. You were kind of on your way up
Yeah,
then.
we were kind of small and walk around. Like a couple people might would come up to Joe, but he wasn't like Joe Rogan can't even like walk around anymore. I would imagine without security.
No, he's just too known. Too many people know him. So I was in did a Austin festival, Moontown, and I was at the airport with this lady, Ashima, and we started talking. She opens for Kevin Hart.
Hmm.
And she was like looking at me, like people took pictures here or there. She's like, "Oh, you're really good with your fans." I was like, yeah, it's fine." I was like, "How's Kevin Hart?" She goes, "Yeah, he's the same, except the problem is the people who recognize him want to fight him.
Really?
Yeah, they just want to start shit. They're not just saying, 'Hi, I'm a big fan.' They get some of that, but then you get somebody's like, 'I'm gonna fuck up Kevin Hart.' Not Kevin Hart, sorry. Not Kevin Hart.
Yeah, because Kevin Hart's like a tiny little like.
Cat Williams.
Oh, Cat Williams.
Cat Williams.
I don't want to fight Cat Williams.
I don't know.
Understand.
He's
Like,
an
what is up with
instigator,
that?
which I love.
Is he?
I love a shit stirrer.
I don't follow him that close, but I see he's like, oh, he didn't like a 14-year-old like get in a fight with him.
Yeah. He's wild.
Yeah, I
I
don't
love
think I've ever met him, but he seems hilarious.
He's so funny.
Yeah, I'll have to give him some
Underrated too,
point.
because he had like 1 or 2 great specials.
Mhm.
Then he put out a so-so one, and everyone just kind of gave up on him.
Mhm.
And then he came right back with great ones, and everyone's like, nobody saw them in
He
the
already
white
wrote it
room.
off. I'll go look him up.
Yeah. If you see him didn't like it, that's the one special.
So find a good one. So what?
Dude, he went on. He was to a black crowd. This is before Michael Jackson. Everybody, he started like making fun of him being a pedophile. People started booing. Goes, fuck off. I'm a father. I'm a father before I'm black. It was like, damn. It was like, no one had done shit like that.
Yeah, I saw he went hard on Interview. I didn't watch the whole thing, but little clips of him just going off on like Hollywood, saying they worship like demons, and he went hard.
Dude, it's so funny. Oh, I
Yeah,
can't
who knows
use my
what's true and
glasses.
what's not, but it was still it was a
It's so
hilarious
fun when
interview.
somebody has accepted I'm not going to be part of this Hollywood game,
Mhm.
and then they just open up on them.
And just go off.
Yeah.
I think that like who was it, 50 Cent going off on Diddy. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, he's like done. So he's
Yeah.
like, I'll do and say whatever, and he's like a legit gangster.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
I
his
think
roots.
he's been battling with Diddy apparently for years. I didn't really follow it because I guess it's Diddy
What a win
shit.
then! What a win for 50.
'Cause everyone's obviously probably known, but they stay quiet, kind of like Epstein and shit. But I guess
Epstein,
he's been-
Weinstein,
Mhm.
Cosby. We all heard rumors, sort of. It was kind of a known thing,
Mhm.
but I was like, someone will take care of it.
Yeah, they'd make jokes about it. I remember Weinstein, they'd be making jokes about it at the fucking Grammys and stuff about how the girls have to have sex with him and stuff, and they're all laughing.
They're
Everyone in
like,
Hollywood
oh, it's
knows.
one of those things.
And then all of a sudden, Me Too, and they're all like, "Oh, we're disgusted. We didn't know."
Yeah, it's like, you all knew. It's okay. Just say, like,
this-
it was out of my control to do anything about it.
Yeah, they were. He was obviously a disgusting man, but the girls also knew they were trading sex to become a star.
It's interesting. There's always, like, extra details of a story. It's not just, like, one thing people want you to believe. Like Lance
Mhm.
Armstrong, what a cheater.
Yeah, but
Raised
everyone
millions of dollars to cancer. Like, those don't help. One doesn't go without the other.
Well, plus when Armstrong was racing, everyone was taking on all teams, so he wasn't cheating. He was doing what everyone.
That's
was
also
doing.
part of the story. Like, he cheated. Like, all right, they had to give us number 2. Cheated.
Number three.
Number 3 cheated. You know who they had to give one of those to? Number 17.
And he probably cheated too.
He probably just didn't
He
get
probably
caught.
passed
Yeah,
the
he probably
test,
just didn't test him right in time. Like, why did we bother testing? Somebody came in 17th. But yeah, with Harvey Weinstein, it's like, it seems like, I don't really know, full rapist and stuff. But at the same time, you don't know what it's like in Hollywood. There are chicks at every level. It's like, what if I blow you?
Yeah.
Can I? And then at some point you start going, I guess that's the world.
And that's an interesting question. Should a director or producer be able to trade sex for a willing girl to be in a part?
Yeah. So it's like, are they offering? It's
Yeah.
a small part. It's not going to fuck up my movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, they're offering, but then it's like, nah, it depends. Where's that power?
Yeah, I don't
so like
know.
a cop can't do that
Yeah,
You
good
know?
point.
because they're like, no, you have this like legal power over
Mhm.
somebody. But then like, I don't know.
Becomes a gray area, right? And I think he's a disgusting person, but I think also some of it got a little like not told quite right.
Yeah, maybe like Brian Lauer, one
Oh
of these
yeah, yeah.
and they're like he had this like button to lock the door from the inside of
Oh
his.
Jesus.
Yeah, okay, that sounds terrible. A year later,
Mhm.
another exec at NBC at the same level was like, no, we all have those. We're extremely busy, and if we're on a phone call, we don't want to get up and do it, so we all have
Oh
those.
yeah. So they made it out sound
They made
creepy.
it
When
seem
you
like this
first said it, I'm like,
dungeony
wow,
thing.
what a creep. It's
Yeah,
not the thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Out of context, things seem
Hmm.
wildly different than they are. So like, but if somebody came to me and was like, "I'll give you a blowjob for a spot on your show," okay, for a
Hmm.
spot on your stand-up night,
Yeah.
okay, that seems iffy. Somebody's like, "I got this thing of cookies. Can I get a spot?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all
I
right.
like
These
cookies.
cookies
Yeah.
are great." That doesn't seem as devious, right?
No.
But it's an offer from the other person. Same, same. So like, and it's like, who's offering? Some porn star who fucks 9 times a
Hmm.
day, or your mom? That's a
Yeah.
different fucking.
No, I do. But I do think Harvey was more pushing it on the girls.
Yeah, I think so
So I
too.
think he
I
was a
think
scummy guy.
it
But
might have started with that, and then it just became like, sit down, suck it, you know the deal.
other interesting one in comedy, there was Louis C.K.
Yeah.
I read some girls came to his room at like 3 in the morning and he started jerking off. But I mean, I'm not going to justify it. But if girls are coming to your room at 3 in the morning,
Also asked, "Hey,
typically,
can I jerk off?" And they go, "Yeah." People are like, "Well, he thought he was joking." I was like,
I mean, if you asked and you came to someone's room at
if you asked and
3:30,
got verbal consent."
yeah, that's what they tell you to do. Asking verbal consent.
And also, like, what are you talking about? You're going to a hotel. You know what the fuck this
Three in the
is?
morning.
Yeah, it's like go smoke weed in the lobby.
Yeah, the
Go
girls going
smoke
to Mike
outside.
Tyson's room. Imagine going to Mike Tyson's room at like 3, 4 in the morning and be like,
I just want to check it. Dude, one time I did my first commercial I ever did, and it was in this weird place in Monument Valley, in like Utah Nevada border, and this hotel had like long, like 20 rooms, then a little area outside, then another 20 rooms, and all the rooms were like colored differently. It was just cool old like, those places like Navajo-ish.
hmm
And one of the producer ladies that we were like talking the whole time, but not flirting. She was like, we're both leaving the after
hmm
party, the wrap party, and then we just keep walking. I assume her room's further along. And then I'm like, oh, here's me. She goes, oh, can I see how your room was designed? I was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, oh. As soon as I
hmm
was in, I was like, oh, right.
That's what a lot of guys don't realize. Like, we're just like small celebrities, but we'll still have random girls come in and try to come rooms to sleep with us sometimes.
Yeah.
These
Or it was
massive
just a regular
celebrities.
hookup. We're both doing
Yeah.
fine. It was a commercial and she was a
hmm
bigger than me. But it was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was just like, if someone comes to your room, that's the sign.
hmm
Without saying, hey, I want to have sex.
Yeah, because
No one
that's
wants to
not,
say that.
no one says that. Like back,
No.
back when you're single,
What are you doing
you
later?
just make up excuses to go to your room. You're like, hey, you want to check out my like turtle collection?
I just
Or
got Netflix. Want to check it out at my place?
exactly, you
Yeah,
make up
turtle
some, you
collection.
make up some,
Exactly. Yeah, my
I think,
turtle, just something.
yeah, they never ask to like see the turtle collection when they get there.
My gay friend said he would do this thing in West Hollywood where it's like
Mhm.
they're like Boulder, but he goes he'd be sitting out here with a guy and he'd be like, "There's air conditioning in the bedroom." Like, oh, okay, or there's heat in the bedroom in the cold
Yeah,
days. And it was like, let's just say something to
but
get us
yeah,
over there.
I think with gay guys it's different though. They're just like having gangbangs and orgies. But with girls, they just don't want to sound like they're doing, being a horse. You just got to like give them a reason to go back.
It just happened.
Hmm.
Yeah, but also we'll get over that in no time. In another
Hmm.
70 years, we'll look back on this and be like, oh, everyone's equal.
No, exactly.
No
It's
one
one
has
of
to
those.
feel about being victimized just by having consensual sex.
I think it's one of those things where there's like some truth to it, but then they went too far the opposite direction. Oh, there's
Yeah,
another case where I saw Aziz Ansari. What's
that
that
one was
comedian? Yeah, did you
retarded.
read that case?
God,
That
it
was
was
like the
so dumb.
worst one I read. He like had some girl in his room and they were making out and they tried having sex with her and then like an hour later he tried having sex after she said no and it's just like
She like blew him for a while,
okay,
and then he was like going to have sex. She goes, "No, why do you think?" Like, what do you mean? Why do I think? You have
you
my
just
dick in your
yeah,
mouth.
right.
That's a pretty good nonverbal cue. That's generally for all the people out there. Don't read that
Mm.
article. Generally, that's a good nonverbal cue.
Yeah, when a girl
She
puts her
has
dick in
her
your mouth,
dick in your mouth.
yeah, good chance you're gonna have sex after that.
That's go time.
I think it's okay to at least try after that.
Yeah, that was a weird one because I had like super liberal like feminist friends who were like, I don't think you did anything wrong. At that point, just get her a cab and go home.
Mhm.
But then I was like, what do you mean get her a cab?
Yeah,
She's not an adult.
she can call her
Call
own
an
Uber,
Uber.
her own
Call
cab.
your
Yeah,
own Uber. What is this? What is this still based in this idea that like women are weak and men are
yeah.
strong?
Especially if you didn't have sex with me. Why would I get an Uber?
Just call yourself a cab. How would you do this if it was a house party?
Hmm.
That happens in New York too, where people like you walk by the subway with a girl like you safe, and you're like, yeah, I live in New York. I do this all the time
Yeah.
by myself. You just hear this one time, you're gonna act like a fucking man.
Hmm. Yeah, I think New York's one of those cities people don't just care, do whatever.
Do whatever. It's
Mhm.
safe.
Yeah, is New York fairly safe now? The news is
So
constantly
safe.
showing how bad it is, but that's not really true, huh? Other than like Midtown and stuff.
even there, the crime is. It was one of the safer
Hmm.
cities in the country, and the crime is up like 10%.
Yeah,
At its worst, I think it's back down now a little bit. Um, it's like these stories of this war zone of New York is just grossly.
yeah. Because for a few years I was in San Francisco, which is like a war zone, and then I moved to New York, and it was so much safer, cleaner. I think it has gone down a little bit now since the COVID and BLM, but I think it's not what a lot of people think it
That
is.
time with like curfews and stuff,
Mm,
it was weird because everyone's out all. I walk home from the cellar at like 3 a.m. all the time, and so the streets are kind of mine, but I pass people still. But then it was like instantly everyone went home, so the only people left were homeless. So you're like,
mm,
oh fuck, there's homeless everywhere. I'm like, it's about the same amount of homeless.
yeah,
You
no,
normally have normals like
yeah,
you
because
know.
New York just has completely packed streets.
Giannis said it once, and I loved it. He goes, the reason the New York homeless aren't as like problematic
Yeah.
as the LA and San
Mhm.
Francisco homeless is because in New York, every 10 years or so, we burn one alive, and they just know their place.
No, it's so true. People in New York are so they don't take the San Francisco people are just too nice. In New York, they'll tell them to fuck off,
Yeah,
get out of their faces.
beat it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they don't do it in the West Coast, and it's like you ever had a dog?
Hmm.
If they do something bad, you gotta be like, no, don't piss. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they'll just keep doing it.
I've had to front kick a couple because they're coming up too aggressive and like girls I was with and stuff. Just
Oh, really?
give them the front teep kick. I probably shouldn't repeat that. I'll probably that's probably a hate
Hate
crime.
speech.
But they were like coming up aggressive on the girls I'm with. I'm like, let's get
You
fucking
gotta
back.
train these dogs and these homeless. You
No,
gotta
people.
train them.
That's how people need to treat them. But
Yeah,
they allow them in San Francisco to do whatever they want.
yeah.
Harass people, attack them.
Yeah, if my dog barks too loud like another dog, it's like you go, no, you gotta tell them that's not allowed.
No, that's what I do with the homeless in San Francisco. But other people just let them like walk all over them. Be like, stay
God,
the fuck away from me.
San
If you
Francisco,
get
that
any
is
closer, I'm gonna
wild.
kick you.
I went to Palace of Fine Arts. There's just signs everywhere going, "Don't leave anything visible in your
Hmm.
car. It will be gone."
Yo,
It's
San
just given
Francisco is
up.
wild because you've been going there what, like 10, 15 years at least, if not longer.
Hmm.
And it was pretty nice when you first started coming
It was
up.
so nice. We'd
Hmm.
have an occasional homeless guy by Fisherman's Wharf,
Hmm.
but he would like dress up like a bush and scare you for a nickel.
No,
That was like
that's
nice.
example of what you don't want a city to do. So you see that to New York, and the media tries acting like they're the same, and they're nowhere close.
No, no way. No, New York's fine. There's just it's not when you talk about crime, what you're really talking about is a normal person
Hmm.
walking and something happened to them.
Yeah, not gang on gang violence.
Right, that's taken out, right,
Hmm.
completely. Suicides are taken out. That's
Yeah,
nothing to do with me. I'm like, can your chick walk the dog at night and without you worrying? And New
yeah.
York, you absolutely you can.
It's one of the safest
Portland, you
cities for
cannot.
girls. No, Portland. Yeah, 'cause I was just surprised. You could leave girls there without feeling that unsafe for them.
Yeah. So if that's what you mean, New York's totally safe.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Let's circle back to some of your old material. I thought was hilarious. The what do you call it? The amazing racist.
Hmm.
I'm surprised you two hasn't taken that off because you were definitely pushing some boundaries with that.
Yeah, especially if you got hate speech.
People,
I can't believe.
I know that I was just thinking the other day. I'm like, how did Ari not get hate speech for this? These
They
are
do. They get pulled down a lot. I didn't put them up in the first
yeah.
place. It was for like a DVD.
Oh, so you wouldn't get tagged with them.
Yeah, it wasn't on mine, but they'd go up. People would like rip them from the DVD,
Mm,
put them up, and then they get a few million views, and then YouTube
mm,
like, no, absolutely not taken down. Someone else will put it up, we'll get
yeah,
like 20 million views, taken down. No, another one go up 5 million views. No, taken down. They just keep popping up.
yeah. I watched a couple of those other nights. Hadn't seen them in like years, and like most of it looked fairly real, not staged. Was most of that like actually?
It was brand new. I mean, we made that DVD for National
Mhm.
Lampoons like 6 months before YouTube started.
Oh
So it was
shit,
like
that was
one of
before
the
that even.
very first like
Pranksters,
viral
like yeah.
videos, like hidden camera things, and people
Mm.
were like, "What the fuck
And you
is
were pushing
this?"
some limits. People don't know some of the things you were doing. Like you went to what city was that? We went to KKK outfit walking
It was
around
all LA or
LA
Greater
area,
LA.
like in black neighborhoods and stuff though. Like
Yeah,
guys trying to fight you.
dude, I brought a big cross in a KK outfit into a
Yeah,
liquor store. I'm like, I need a lighter. I fucked up. I forgot my lighter. And the
yeah.
guy's like, "What the fuck?" So here's what we did. We would go to like the guy who owned the liquor store
Hmm.
and was like, "Hey, here's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Can we put some cameras in here and here?" And he goes, "Yeah, I have a black employee working there. You can fuck with him."
Oh, so but the employee doesn't know.
Yeah, so he has no idea what's
'Cause
happening.
that's what I was thinking. Look, because usually I can tell when stuff's acting. I was trying to
Yeah,
watch that. I'm like, this actually
yeah.
most of this actually looks real. They look like the guys are really gonna fight
You're
you. Like
like,
one
"What?"
one guy did attack you on the boat. You did one where you put a boat out to send black people back to
Free
Africa.
trips to Africa.
That was oh my god, I couldn't believe that one.
Yeah, they came to me with this idea. They're like, "We have this idea, just a takeoff on the word Amazing Race."
Yeah.
It was a DVD of like the idea was like these are like reality show pitches
Hmm.
that got sent to a network, that were so bad. They're just like,
where
oh,
it's just
put
like,
them in a
no
box.
way.
And somebody found this box of the worst ones. One is like, I can barf anywhere.
Mhm.
And it was a guy who just knew how to barf. Another one was
Oh.
like, scare me. And people like going to funerals and like trying to frighten
Mhm.
people. And then this Amazing Race, but it'll be like Amazing Racist. You'll just like say some like sort of, and I was brand new, pre-internet, no repercussions were even in
So
my
you were doing
mind.
this actually before YouTube.
Yeah. And then I was like, all right, let's do it, but let's like go for it though. Your guys' idea is kind of like kitschy. Just the whole
Mhm.
joke was it's not the Amazing Race, it's the Amazing Racist.
Mhm.
Like, let's fucking go. And so yeah, it was like I took like a dog back door to like different Chinese restaurants. I'm like, how much?
Cooking.
Yeah, cook it up. Look meaty dog.
Yeah, you were eco. You messed with the Jews even too,
Oh
which
yeah, I
was
messed
good.
with the
You went and fucked with
Jews.
the Jews. What were you
Try to get them
saying?
to sign a
Sign
petition
to crucify
for the
Jesus.
killing of Christ. So I'd say I'm sorry for the killing of Christ, and they're like, I didn't do it. I'm like, yeah, then sign it, no big deal. Oh, I was
Yeah,
That's my
that,
favorite comment. Is like, oh yeah, sure he does this, but when anyone mentions Jews, they all go nuts, and people go, actually, you
no,
should look him
Ari,
up.
yeah, Ari
You
definitely.
you
Ari
should,
go mess with the Jews.
yeah, you're actually way wrong. He's
Yeah,
just having
you're
fun.
wrong with that one. You can fuck around and have a sense of humor about it.
Dude, that's like every 14-year-old boy's coming of age now
Mhm.
is watching those videos.
No, they're. I remember I watched them when they first came out. And the other day, I'm like, oh, maybe I should catch up when we're listening to an interview with you. And I'm
Yeah.
watching, like, okay, these are still hilarious, and they look real. That's what I'm trying to be like, okay, because so much stuff is staged.
Yeah.
And I'm going, this actually looks real. Like guys attacking you, and
Dude, people ask me if I regret that because like I've gotten in trouble over, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm a comedian, and
yeah,
I made with those probably close to 1 billion people laugh,
yeah.
and it's like, no, I don't regret. I don't regret that.
Yeah, it's not like you hate these people. I mean, you're
No,
just
yeah, it's
playing
just
it like, well, you're the fucking the Jews. You're Jewish. It's
yeah,
like the black people. It's just, it's funny. You
yeah.
pile the Mexicans in your car. What'd you do? You didn't you
Drove
like
into an
pile it?
INS.
Oh, that was
Said
one of
I
the
need
worst.
help fixing my deck.
That one was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And he drove to ICE, right?
Yeah, I drove to INS and started blowing a whistle. On La Migra.
They just sprinted off, all pissed.
I do occasionally see a comment like when someone brings it up, like, "Oh, I never connected. That's Ari. I
Yeah,
know him from stand up, but not that."
it's funny. Someone mentioned that a few months ago. I'm like, it's Ari, right? And they're like, no. I'm like, yeah, no, that was Ari that you're talking about and stuff.
Dude, I peaked early. I'll never do anything that
Yeah,
great.
like it's hard to push that hard again.
Yeah, you couldn't do that these days.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think anyone would even do it with the cameraman. Like, I can't do this.
No, yeah, because you were definitely pushing limits on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I got attacked by like a I think like a trans metro work, not trans, sorry, like whatever the word is. Worked for like Amtrak, and he just pulled over. I'm just doing a setup shot of me crossing the train tracks, like I'm going to the wrong side of town. He just slams on his brakes, jumps out and grabs me and slams me against the fence. He's like, no, motherfucker, not in this neighborhood. And I'm like, because it was a setup. I was like, no, I'm not even doing anything. No, I'm Jewish. This camera guys. And he goes, what? But like, yeah, you just couldn't, for so many reasons. The safety issues, the fucking, anyone is like, I can't have my name on that as a cameraman.
No, were you a little worried about your safety then, though? It's all these black guys.
Yeah,
really,
a little bit
really
for sure.
pushing some.
It was like trying to get them riled up.
Oh yeah, you were trying to
Yeah.
say the most racist shit possible.
But if you see it as like for the film of it, if I got punched, that will make a better thing. You know,
because that one guy did attack you at the beach at the boat.
So many.
Yeah, I talked to. Yeah, I
So
didn't
it's
watch
like
them all,
great.
but
Now
I
I'm
see
hoping to mitigate the damage on that.
Mhm.
You know, but like, oh, it's so much better.
Yeah.
Same thing with stand up now. It's like if you get somebody who's like writes a blog about you, tries to get you, it's like sick, nice.
Cool people trying to.
Yeah,
It's harder to
I
cancel.
made somebody
It's
feel
harder to
something.
cancel people now.
Yeah, it's getting
Which
harder.
is good. You know, like I said, Twitter, thankfully, haven't been canceled from there yet.
Twitter's now just like say whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy pushing the boundaries as far as you can. I know you do too. You've done some extremely controversial tweets.
God, yeah. I love shit stirring.
It's just fun sometimes. I'll intentionally just shit stir, put something that you know is just going to drive people crazy.
It's like it's just what they don't understand, which just makes it more fun. And it's like Nick Mullen told me once, like 10 years ago. He goes, I come from a long line of trolls. We would go on like message boards and try to like get people like whatever riled up. But you're getting 6 people at a time, 8 people at a time. He goes, we're in a golden age of trolling where you could fuck with a million people at once.
Sometimes millions in some of the tweets I've had. I'm sure you have too. I know
So
you
like,
have actually.
this is the time. And you don't have to believe in anything you're saying. It's like going to a car show and going, no, horses are better. And then going to a horse show and be like, cars are clearly better. I don't care about either one. You're about to fuck.
No.
I don't care about this. My only care is your anger. It's
It's
fun.
just fun to piss people off sometimes.
And then we're all laughing at the people mad.
Yeah, and they're just like angry, taking it serious, not realizing it's a joke.
It's just a joke. I don't care. It's just the whole joke is making you mad. That's so funny.
Yeah, I have that same sick sense of humor, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "How do you handle everyone hating you?" I'm like, "It's hilarious."
Yeah, it's not. I mean, what do they
It's
hate me
not real
for?
hate.
They don't hate me for anything real.
It's never real hate. In the
Yeah.
real world, does everyone ever come up to you and be like, "Fuck you, Ari," maybe once or twice? If
I
that?
mean, if that, I don't know.
To me, never. Maybe it's because I'm a fighter, but never. All these people, the same people talking shit, will come up and take a picture with us.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, for those amazing risks, I got this hate, like all these death threats.
Yeah,
Way
yeah.
before anyone
Oh,
was
I
getting them,
bet,
I was
yeah.
getting them. I learned early on these are
Yeah.
meaningless. But one was like, "Fuck you! If I ever see you, I'll kill you." And I was like, "All right, what's the fucking deal?" And I was like, "You know, those Mexicans like chased them all down and gave them all $50.
Oh, nice.
Drove them back." And she goes, "Oh, okay." She goes, "Actually, I did laugh when I first saw it." I'm like, "So you went from first emotion laughing to writing me a death threat
Yeah,
because
crazy,
you
right?
feel like you're supposed to do this. You don't even care."
No, they don't really care. That's
Yeah.
a lot of these people, like the trans rights activists and all these people. It's like, come on, trans are funny. How are we gonna not laugh at these people?
To bring back the Trans Am before you even do anything.
Mm-hmm.
How come you can't have a Trans Am anymore? That's discontinued. Now's a great time to remarket that car.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, you can give the fucking Dylan Roof or whatever her name is. No, that's not. That's not the right one.
Dylan
Mulvaney.
Mulvaney,
Yeah,
yeah.
make her
Dylan.
spokesman for Trans Am. That fits.
That
Bud Light doesn't fit. She don't drink Bud Lights.
Yeah.
But she could drive a Trans Am.
This makes perfect sense. You should be in charge of marketing.
Ah, Chevy. Is that who does Trans Ams?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Cars.
Get on it.
You probably don't even drive in New York, or do you?
I do. I got during the pandemic. I got a
You
car
finally, yeah.
because I was like, we might have to get out fast. You know, those early days.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is going to turn. And it's also, remember the early days where I'm like, I might have to get like a machete or something for the
I
inside
was
of the
in
door.
New York when they first shut everything down. It was weird. I flew home pretty quick though, because they said they shut down all the bars and restaurants. I didn't believe it. I tried going out, nothing was opening. I'm like, well, I might as well book a flight
New
home.
York. That's why you're here.
Crazy, yeah. It was like a movie, just empty streets and.
Dude, they were talking about how like we're not going to shut down. Shelter in place was the term they were using,
Mm-hmm.
and then the mayor and the governor were fighting about it. The mayor of New York is pretty much it's like half the fucking state, you know,
Yeah.
a quarter of the state. It's so big, and they were fighting over it. And a lot of it was like kids need school lunches. You can't stop that. I don't know what everything went into it, but then they decided like it was like 8 p.m. They're like, all right, they're agreeing. We're gonna shelter in place starting tomorrow. And I was like, I just taken an edible.
Oh shit.
And I just started sweating and spinning. And I tell my chat, I was like, hey, as soon as we come back, we gotta go to the supermarket right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, can this wait till tomorrow? I'm like, I don't think it can. I think it'll all be gone tomorrow. Because our new groceries coming in, oh, it's this whole thing.
Oh,
and then she was getting like nice fresh peaches. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Canned everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that was a crazy time. I didn't think they were really going to shut the country down. I was kind of in shock.
Yeah.
And I was never really scared of it. So me, I'm like walking around trying to get people to hang out with me. I was trying to set up parties, and everyone was just like, "Hey, there's no, it's 2 weeks." I'm like, "What do you mean? We're actually really?" I was shocked that people really followed it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just baffling.
And then, like,
to me.
what did that mean to shut down? Like, are they going to stop groceries coming over the bridges into into Manhattan? If they don't, it's a quick jump to like, well, someone's going to come to my apartment and take my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they got to feed their family, like, hey, I didn't want to become this man, but
sorry,
I'm killing
yeah.
you. It's Walking Dead in no time.
Yeah, I mean, if I can't eat, sorry, Ari, I'd kill you.
Exactly.
I got to feed my family and personal. I would like try to like just hold you up first and handcuff you, but you know you have to.
Yeah, maybe like, well, you got to go. I'll take your
like
clothes.
like Alex Jones, I would eat your ass.
Exactly.
Not your ass, but. I'm sure you saw that clip, right? Alex Jones is yelling, "I'll eat your ass!" Like I think he meant to eat the person, but it didn't quite come out right. Yeah, things could turn. That's when you realize like things could turn fucked up really quick.
I had a buddy in a writing class. He told him his dad from Montana, and he was in Phoenix or Tempe, maybe ASU, I don't know. But like he had to drive home, and his dad was like kind of a survivalist, and he goes, "Hey, take back roads." And he goes, "Why?" He goes, "It shouldn't be an issue either way, but just in case, this could go way south."
Mm-hmm.
Like no one really faced, and then we weren't as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, I didn't own guns till then. But then there was that, the BLM. I started buying some guns.
Really?
Before I was like, oh, I can fight. I'm fine. But you're like, okay, shit could turn south real quick. Better get guns. And then there's like an ammo shortage. And
yeah, that's right. There's shortages on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we got a car during that. And it was like, if we got to leave, we got to leave.
Yeah, living in New York is the only time I've not had a car. Typically, you don't want a car in New York. You're in Brooklyn, right?
No, I'm in Manhattan, but my parking garage costs more than my car does.
Yeah, that's what you typically just don't.
$650 a month.
$650 per parking garage.
Yeah, and my lease on it, lease to own, whatever, was like $300 a month. And
Jesus,
I'm like, insurance, everything is less than that fucking thing.
damn. So yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, that's sometimes I don't take it out for like a month.
No, that's why you almost don't want a car in New
Yeah,
York because by the
but you
time.
got to move it across the street twice a week.
Hmm.
It's just like what the? It's a burden. Yeah, Rogan was saying he was gonna get me a nice like weird car, like I don't know, like a Camaro, and doll it up in a weird like I love sucking dick or whatever. And I was like, it's funny, I get it. If I lived in LA, I would
Hmm.
go for that. The burden of just owning any car. Buy me a Lamborghini, bro.
Hmm.
It's gonna ruin my life.
Yeah, you don't want a Lamborghini in New York because you're
Well, it's
constantly at
done. Yeah,
lights and like.
anything is just a problem. And now
Hmm.
I realize it's costing me fucking 8 grand a year to keep my car.
Yeah, it's the one city where it's so much easier just to fucking take public transportation.
Oh, and it's so easy.
Hmm.
It goes everywhere. Yeah, Bart's okay, but
Oh, Bar's terrible actually, and in
really,
San Francisco it's way harder. It doesn't go many places. It's full
uh,
of drug addicts now.
oh yeah,
The train system's way better in New York.
yeah. Occasionally you lose one car to like somebody pissing,
Yeah,
and so you see an empty car
windows
of
knocked
all
out
the.
all the time. Homeless people. Well, in San Francisco, there's actually this is like a real thing. People need to decide: do they? Some people will leave their cars unlocked, but then a homeless person might be sleeping.
Sleep in it.
If
So
they
now
don't
you've added
unlock,
sleeping
they'll
in.
knock the windows out. So they
Ugh.
go, should I have a homeless person sleeping in my car? Knocked out windows.
You have to leave. You have to leave the glove compartment open so they can see in. It's not worth it. I mean,
Yeah,
I saw a guy going like this, and near Palace of Fine Arts, like a nice
yeah,
area, going like this to one car, and then going to the next car, and just like going like this. Dude, and I'm like,
yeah.
broad daylight,
No,
no
yeah,
fear. Like, what are you gonna do, Rez? You'll throw me back out in the streets. It's fine.
yeah. They don't hide it at all. It's baffling.
Yeah, but they're not even hiding it.
It's like obviously some cities have fallen a lot worse than others, but like certain cities like that, they let criminals out, they let drugs run the street. All cities are having problems, but like San Francisco, Portland, LA, just completely collapsing.
There was one of the mayors, maybe of Oakland, I don't know, but they go, we're not going to prosecute black people for minor crimes because they're coming off BLM and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then all these like black residents, like minor crimes against us.
Hmm.
Like I'm black, my car's
Yeah.
broken into. Protect me.
No, it doesn't help the black people when they
Yeah,
allow it because what happens is a small group of black people start doing major crimes and they fucked up for everyone.
yeah, that's it.
Because
They
that's
fucked
like
up
San
everyone
Francisco, they pretty much don't want to press charges on black people. So the
because they
few
feel
that do
bad.
it, they come through and just destroy everything, rob because they know they'll get let right out.
It's that same example. If you see a limit, like, oh, they're not going to do anything. Like I got a jaywalking ticket in LA,
Yeah,
and
so
that was the
retarded.
thing. They'll give you jaywalking tickets. In New York, they don't. So everyone jaywalks
Yeah,
all the time.
everyone jaywalks in New York.
Yeah, because there's no repercussions. If there were, there shouldn't be. But if there were,
Hmm.
we jaywalk less. If no one's gonna arrest you for doing shit, like of
No, you're
course I'm
gonna
gonna
do it.
take
Yeah,
free stuff.
exactly.
Why wouldn't I?
No, especially if you're like poor, they go, oh, you can rob, you can do this.
Yeah.
Even like serious crimes, like armed robberies and stuff, they'll be out like in a week or two.
Damn.
So it's gone wild in San Francisco.
God damn. Yeah, we're
Hmm.
talking about this in the car. It's like liberal and conservative
Hmm.
cities. It's every city is really suffering.
Yeah, no, I think yeah, they make it a right versus left thing, and I do think the leftist cities are a little worse, but the right cities are having problems too with major opium epidemics, and
Yeah, yeah. Fentanyl's everywhere.
yeah, that's a big one. Cheap meth and cheap fentanyl. So you mix those, and people just get fucked up.
Yeah. Fuck, it's just really bad. And to blame it on like it's that side. It's like that doesn't really tell the whole story. Yeah, I looked up top 10 conservative cities in
Hmm.
America because I was like kept hearing like these
Yeah.
liberal cities going to shit. It's not the major ones.
Hmm.
The top 10 cities are like Kansas City, Fort Worth, Oklahoma City,
Hmm.
I forget what else. Um, and then there's different stats of like conservative like numbers or like conservative run. So it's but it was like Fort Worth and I look at Fort Worth crime stats, 20 something 23% higher than the national average. So like all these conservative cities are also like
Yeah.
also all failing. It's every big
Yeah, so
city.
the media wants to make it like a right
Occasionally
versus
a
left
small
thing,
town will be
but it's
okay.
not. And I do think the leftist cities are a little worse, especially if you look at the ones on the coast,
The
in
West
California,
Coast.
yeah, the West Coast.
East Coast conservative cities are not as bad.
Yeah,
I
so
mean
no,
liberal cities are not
no,
as
you're
bad.
right. It's an interesting point. So it's not
'Cause
just
so I was talking to Rogan about this. We were driving in Austin. It was like, ugh, like down, what is it? Maybe First,
mhm.
tent city. You know, it was like tents everywhere. And I was like, I think the tent towns are worse than the shelter towns. Because in
Mhm.
New York, you got a window before you'll die outside at night.
Yeah.
And in Austin, it's die daytime from
Mhm.
heat exhaustion. But if you can find some shade, then you're fine. LA, Portland, you're not dying from the weather.
Mhm.
So it just gets worse. You get a tent, you get a fucking, like a hot plate in your tent. You start like, the plague is back in LA.
I think you're actually right with the weather because New York, Chicago, they don't have the same
It's not like it.
massive, and
It's
they're
not
not
like
as
that. Yeah.
aggressive. They're not as like.
And that's nothing to do with liberal or conservative. That's like
Of course,
weather's
Chicago's a liberal
based. The
city.
West Coast cities
hmm
are way worse, and I think it's that.
Chicago has a bad crime problem, but it's mostly gang on gang violence. So it's
Not our
like
problem.
you hear so much bad stuff about Chicago, but you go there and it's not that bad.
Yeah, murder capital of the world, and you're like, this is
They're
fucking
killing
great.
each other.
Wrigleyville
Yeah,
is
right.
fucking awesome.
hmm
No one's even bumping into me.
Yeah, no, Chicago's like a nicer, not a nicer New York, but less crowded, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chicago's cool. Chicago's a homer town.
yeah, it gets a lot of hate too from the conservatives, but the people never go there.
The hate. It's funny. I was in Kansas City with my buddy. We were doing gigs and I had an Uber driver. A couple of them. One, this black dude who was driving us from the hotel into Kansas City, and he was like, "What do you guys do?" We're like, "Whatever." And then we were passing some giant church. He goes, "This is my church I go to. It's like a mega church. I go there usually. Sometimes I go to the smaller church." I'm like, "Okay." He goes, and we're like, "What should we do in town?" He goes, "Well, there's this. If you like drinking, there's this." I'm like, "Actually, I'm sober for the month. I forget when it was. I was getting
Yeah,
ready for a
sober
special.
for a month.
I was getting ready for a special. I want my skin to look good just for a little bit." And then he goes, "Oh, okay. Well, if you're comfortable with your heterosexuality, the gay part of town is actually really fun." And so I'm like, I'm thinking black Christian from Kansas City
hmm
would be the last guy I'd think to be like, the gay part of
Yeah,
town's really
right.
cool. Like the story I'm getting about a Southern that
hmm
man is not the reality.
No.
And then later I had an Uber driver and he goes, "Oh, you're from New York." Like, how is it now? I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he
hmm
goes, "The crime and it's just like a war zone and everything." I'm like, "No." And I'm like, my version of you guys is your worst, and your
hmm
version of us is our worst, and neither are real.
Yeah, I think people like us that travel a lot, we see a
We
different
see it.
reality. We see all the different people, and people, you see good people everywhere, shitty people everywhere, but
Most
they
people are
make all
pretty
these like,
cool.
yeah, they make all these fake, the right makes fake against the left, and the left does it against the right, and it's
Uh
like,
huh.
no, the right people are great in those little small towns, and most left cities are great too.
Yeah, my friend Nate Marshall said he was height of BLM, black guy,
hmm
and he was like, he started because of the media and social media too. He was under the impression that every white man wanted him dead, and he started to feel that.
hmm
And he's out fishing in Pennsylvania, him and a couple black friends. There's this older white guy, and he's like looking at him, he's like, "Fuck," and then he starts rowing over to him.
hmm
The white guy starts, and he
Yeah.
goes, "Fuck, here we go." And Nate doesn't want any trouble. He's like a young, polite. And he goes, "Hey guys," and he's like, "Hey, like what's going on?" He's like, "Hey, I hope you don't mind, but you're casting way wrong. Can I help you?" And they're like, "Yeah, what do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't know how to do it. He's
Yeah, I
like,
don't
at
know
the
at first,
top of
but
your throw or whatever it was.
yeah.
Let me show." And he did. He goes, "Great. Yeah, he goes, gonna do way better there." And he rode off. And he just met with this difference in what he thought the world was
hmm
versus what the world actually is.
No,
And he's like, "Fuck, I've been lied. I got to rethink all this."
there's been several times where I brought different minority friends to the small white town I grew up in,
Yeah.
and they're always at first, or not all of them, but sometimes they're like nervous at first, like, oh, everyone's sketchy. I'm like, bro, trust me. Afterwards, they're like, oh,
Nobody cares.
everyone's treating me so good coming up. They're always surprised.
Yeah, yeah, it's nuts, and it's like it's getting everyone to feel like it's not to say there's no problems, but like
It's not.
statistically, there's no problems.
It's way less than people act like. It's a divide online, but in the reality, if you treat people good, they mostly treat you good in return.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah,
And same, like I said, we're talking about online hate. That's not real either. That's why I think it's funny when people tell you want to kill you online, they'll see you in person, they want a picture. Hate and love are both such strong emotions; it can switch so easy.
yeah,
People that hate us can easily become our fans.
yeah, and vice versa.
Yeah, I think
I
the
just
most.
saw Everything Everywhere All at Once again last night.
I'm not sure if I've seen that.
Oh, you got to see it.
What is it? Everything.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Okay, do me a favor though. You got a chick?
Maybe.
Sorry, cut that
I
out.
try. I try
I
to keep
know.
personal
I
business out. Some
100%
people hate me,
understand it.
but
Yeah. All right.
it's all good.
Come back in.
Anyways.
Find somebody you like, a
Yeah.
girl or a best friend or whatever, or if you have to watch it alone, don't look it up at all. Don't
All
look
right.
up anything about it. I'm
Deal.
just telling you, just press play.
All right. Perfect. I'll do that.
Yeah,
Maybe tonight if I have time.
yeah, and then call me afterwards,
Yeah.
and then we can finish on this
All right.
discussion.
Perfect. Is Skankfest tonight, or when does that start? Or
Skank,
tomorrow?
the opening ceremony's tonight,
I'll
but
probably wait till tomorrow. I'll probably a little too many
you don't
days
want to
there.
do this. One's
Yeah.
a woo woo fest. It's not even a fun hangout.
No. So I'll probably wait till tomorrow to come
Yeah,
by.
yeah.
Yeah. So what special did you just film? Or are you working on it still? Or
No, I'm done. It's I gotta edit out a couple of the Biden jokes that don't apply anymore.
oh, because he's not president or
Yeah,
not.
it was the worst thing. You fucking
That
fucked up
sucks
my
when you
fucking
fucked up your
ending. I had a
special.
joke about it, and now it's like, nah.
Now you got to add like something about Kamala in or
Yeah, I had
something.
a joke that it was like women were almost president one time. Remember when you guys were close? But it was like, fuck, it doesn't apply anymore because now you're close
and
again.
now she might be the president.
You can't say you were close that one time.
And now it's like 50-50.
Yeah, it's about focusing on the positives of the world and
That's
instead
good.
of the negatives, even if there are negative. Like let's say you're in your car in LA and it's like, when there's traffic, it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
2 a.m. and there's just traffic, or 11 a.m. and it's suddenly like, why is this dead stopped? And you're like, could be a negative, or look around it. Oh, I got weed.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right.
smoke.
Smoke a
I'm
little
gonna
bit.
listen to this fucking classic rock. Cause like, what a good moment to be able to.
Yeah, I just can't eat weed. If I eat weed, sometimes I like completely lose it.
Yeah, sure.
I could pretty much do any. I'd rather do crack than weed.
Really?
And edibles, at least, not smoking it. I don't know why edibles just fucking.
It hits different.
It hits different. I think I ate too many. Last time I did it was like I haven't done it since like prime COVID. I think I ate like a large amount.
You need to start with like a 5 milligram dose.
Yeah.
That's what normal people do, and then they just get a nice little buzz. Find your dose and do that.
I think I always eat like 6-7 doses because I'll eat like a bunch of gummy bears or a candy bar. People will be like, "Oh, you're supposed to have a gummy bear." I'm like, who the fuck has a gummy bear? Or who eats a piece of a chocolate bar?
What it should be is a whole pack of Haribo gummy bears with one of them having weed in it, so you can just have the whole thing.
Exactly.
The rest are not. The one has 20 milligrams.
Yeah. Well, my brother gave me a chocolate bar and goes, "Oh yeah, eat one." So I ate the bar, and then I was
You meant eat a square?
just destroyed.
Oh,
yeah. And he goes,
fuck.
"You ate the whole bar?" He meant like a square. I don't remember how many squares it was, but like a bunch.
Dude, we used to go to UFCs and do when the breath strips were really kicking. These THC breath strips. They come 2 to a pack, and they're like in a little case like that big, This is little, and you'd split one in half and eat half. You take out. So a pack was good for 4 people. John Jones one time was like, "Hey, you got any more breast strips?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he just took both of them and ate them. We're like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Fuck off, man. I'm a man."
John Jones is crazy.
Like, what are you doing? He goes, "Trust me, bro."
Yeah, I'm all right.
But I remember being at UFC so gacked out, just like that, and then just like kind of coming out of it, and you're like, "Who's winning this fight?" It's like round 4. Is it close? Like, no. I'm like, oh.
It's probably one time I watched watched fights on mushrooms. That was intense. And I was just like, wow. That was what I was still doing. I'm like, holy shit, I do this sport? These guys are crazy. Guys are just beating the hell out of each other. I'm like, oh my God, I do this?
You see it for what it is. These are crazy. I'm one of these.
Yeah, I was going back and forth between like, yeah, kill him. And then like, oh my God, I have to do this?
I was at one of the UFCs on acid. And just like, I think Forrest Griffin was coming in and he played some I think he played like Dropkick Murphys or something was his entrance song, something like that. I remember everyone cheering and just like feeling like, this is the Gladiators. This is like, we're cheering for someone to be hurt. What is happening right now? We all just want to be like,
yeah, it's wild. Like that's when I was fighting. I would rarely think about it, but then sometimes I would do like some drugs and I would just be like, oh shit, what the fuck do I do for a living? Why do I do this crazy sport?
There's thousands of people hoping you get brain damage.
Yeah. They want to just watch you get beat senseless, arms broken, face smashed. They want you to get hurt. A lot of times they don't care who.
Yeah,
sometimes
they don't care.
Sometimes they might be rooting against you if he's hurting another guy, then they want you to hurt him a lot of the time.
It was weird being starting to become friendly with like fighters. You get like
way harder watching them fight, huh?
Yeah, and when they lose, it's like if you feel really bad.
Yeah.
If they get pummeled, you feel really, really bad. But if they just lose a close one, where they did fight, it was like, like Guida, I remember going like, fuck. On a fight I was there, I was like, damn it.
No, for me, a lot of these guys are my very best friends, and it's just devastating watching them lose. Especially
1 out of 2.
Especially if I'm cornering someone. Like I would usually corner like Nick, Gilbert, Melendez, and Nate Diaz. So like a lot of their fights, and there's so much on the line.
Yeah, damn. I was at that Nate fight where he fucking one of those.
Oh, the double flip you. That was awesome.
It was great. I was sitting next to Epstein, and it was just like, we're like, what the fuck? Yeah. It was crazy. He knew he had it locked in, and then he like, I got a minute and a half left. You have tops 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think my favorite moment cornering was the first Nate.
Did you corner that one?
I don't think I cornered that one, but the first Nate where both the Connor ones, but when he beat him, because Connor was talking shit to me and stuff that week too, and then he just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
In the second round, like I'm just like. I'm not even really coaching Nate. I'm just like talking shit to Connor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, trying to get his head. At first, I'm like, oh, that was terrible coaching. But at least John Donaher is like, no, I actually think it was good because you were fucking with Connor. Because
you had to like be distracted.
Because I kept being like, oh, you're getting tired and just talking shit to him.
Yeah.
Because I could see he was getting a little fatigued. And I started talking shit.
You cornered both those fights.
Yeah.
2 wins.
Yeah. Well, I thought he won the second one, but he gave it the other way. Yeah.
I think he did.
I think that would be a good. They should do the third one. That's the money fight.
It will be the last money fight for both of them.
Yeah,
the biggest possible last money fight.
I think
left.
so. I think
and also, like, at this point, Connor, if you lose, who cares? You're not like protecting your record anymore.
No, they're both towards the end of their career. I think I think Nate wants to do a few more, but still, realistically,
where are you?
So it's like that fight makes sense to me. I think.
Yeah, everybody. I
Mhm.
watched the one in Edinburgh. It was Fight 2, I think.
Mhm.
Was there for the festival. We watched it at 4 a.m. It came on. It was at my buddy Daniel Sloss's house. And I was like, how am I going to stay up till 4 a.m.? I think that's the main card started at 4.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. It's like that means like 7 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, how am I going to start? And then my other buddy comes over with just a tray of white. And I'm like,
Oh, I
oh,
guess we're staying up.
okay, all right, all right. I'm not usually,
Yeah.
but this one, it's medicinal.
Yeah, you can't miss that fight.
Yeah,
So it's something
yeah.
I usually avoid that, but for the fights I would.
They were
That fight was
all,
epic.
yeah, they were all big McGregor fans because Ireland and Scotland are like kind of
Yeah,
similar. They've both been shit on by the UK. So they're all rooting for them, and they're like, "You better not come with a fucking McGregor shirt." I'm like, "No, of course." I'm not with
Diaz
a
shirt,
Diaz
yeah.
shirt. I'm like, "I get it. Where am I gonna find one right now?" By the way.
Mm.
And then I was like, "Oh, fight's about to start." I just took off my shirt. And it's 209 on my chest.
209, motherfucker. They're
Yeah.
probably pissed.
Yeah, they're like, "Get the fuck out of here with
I
that."
think Nate's actually in town in Vegas right now.
Really?
Maybe I'll try to, last time brought him by the fucking Skank Fest. Do you know what? I think you
Yes,
already know what happened. I think you already know what happened. So,
Shane was so
yeah.
embarrassed.
So, yeah, I think me and Shane were texting Nate to come by.
Yeah.
He walks in. They're having a naked roast on stage. And the 209, that's like, they don't play around with like gay jokes at all. He looks up, sees naked dude on stage. He goes, "What the fuck?" I go, "Here, Nate." I walked him back to the dressing room.
Yeah.
So we're in there chilling, having a drink. A couple gay guys walk in. He's just got
It's
up.
not gay guys. It was
Not gay
naked
guys, not
straight
gay guys,
guys.
gay guys.
Yeah,
Straight
but it
naked
was
guys,
just
naked
gay
guys.
enough.
No, yeah, naked guys. But to Nate, that's gay. He just got up and bounced.
Fuck this, man.
And like, well,
Can't do it.
he can't. All the comedians are like, "Did Nate already leave?" I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah.
he did." "Is he coming back?" "No."
He was in a huff.
Yeah, he was gone.
You can't explain to him like casual male nudity is the funniest thing on the planet. Just a flaccid dick. Jackass knew it. It's the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah, it seems. I don't think I could go do a naked roast, sitting there roasting each other naked.
Yeah, it's
Is
so
women
funny.
involved too, or no?
Yeah,
Nate walked through there so quick, we didn't get a chance to see. He looked up, see naked people, and he's just like, "Go."
yeah.
And then I'm like, I thought I could get him to the back. That didn't work.
I've seen some wild ones, and I get close for those too because their dicks are so oddly shaped. They have pointy ones, and they're just like it's just like oddly like I don't know why the ones who would do it. You wouldn't need Ellis will sometimes judge. He's got a fucking hog. Brennan Ezekiel, he's got a nice hanger. But anyway, the very first naked roast, Clemp, something Carolyn Clemp, no, somebody, whatever. She comes out naked. Everyone's like, whatever, and decent body, you know, cute girl. And then she reaches into her pussy and she's like gonna pull out a tampon. I was like, oh, and she pulls out what looked like a tampon, but then she goes like this, and it's a baggie. And then she opens up the baggie and she pulls out and she goes, and she reads off a joke. Another one, it was this girl, tall, decent tits, nice B cup, tall, but like, and then she's up there and I'm like, I'm pretty close. Because I was like, I want a good seat for this. It's one of my favorite shows. And then she just goes like that and a fucking dick pops out.
Oh my
It
God.
was just a tuck job. Just from a tramp, just like
the
tucked
fuck?
away and a fucking hog. But you know, you ever do the pussy when you're little?
The little tuck.
The tuck,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just to see. That's about as trans as you
Sounded a
got.
lot like Thailand. You've been to Thailand, right?
Yeah,
You ever go to the ping pong show?
yeah.
That was so disturbing. I thought
Disturbing?
It was so. I thought it would be so much better. I was like, I walked out of it.
Did you?
They started shooting darts at my face with out of their pussies, and they looked just like so depressed on stage. I'm just like, I can't do this.
Dude, it's like when you hear about it,
It sounds
like,
great.
it sounds like a sexual fun thing. It's like disturbing is the right
It was
word.
one of the most disturbing things I've ever been to. It was so depressing. The girls looked depressed. They're like pulling razor blades out.
Hold a
fish.
balloon over your head. And you're like, okay. And
wanted
they
to shoot
shoot
darts
darts,
at
at it. And I'm like, first of all, if this gets on, it's infected with Thai hooker pussy.
That's when I got out and walked out. I'm like, I'm not losing an eye to a pussy dart. What happened to your eye? Well, I was in Thailand.
I wanted to, one of them was like, give me a tip, give me 100. And I pulled out, I think, a 5,000 baht.
Yeah.
Which isn't, whatever, it's 30
You get
bucks.
the money. Yeah. It's like a lot of money to
But
them.
she like grabs it. I'm like, no. This is not for you. And she's like holding it. And then I'm like, and she's pulling it. It's crazy. It's like, and I'm like, oh, I'll lose this fight. Like she calls in her bosses, and
Yeah.
it's like, fucking.
You might get like jumped by hookers or
Yeah.
or
Well, they have a big thing of like, if you fuck with one of those lady boys, they call themselves different than trans. They say they're a different category, but like, if you fuck with one, 100 of
attack
them
you,
are
yeah.
fucking beating the shit out of you.
Yeah, I want to say a lot of guys are liars too. Dudes always say they get tricked by ladyboys. For the most part, the ladyboys are the dudes know what they're getting into because they all hang out the same spots. Those dudes are just trying.
You
to
just happen to find the
got
one
tricked.
super hot chick at a ladyboy.
They hang out in
place.
the same bars. They got like the most work done. So if they have over too much work, those dudes saying they got tricked, it's like, sure, you got tricked.
The Ladyboy shows in Chiang Mai, like the
Hmm.
musical reviews and stuff, those are fun.
Yeah, I
They
try to
seem
avoid
like
those, but
artistic. You know, they get
never.
you on stage, you're dancing with a wig on, and then you see like there's 10 of them on stage
Hmm.
doing different like dances and stuff. That seems totally fine. But one out of those 10, like, no,
Mm.
that one's a girl though. No, that one's a girl. And someone's like, why would they be in this show?
Exactly.
You're like, ah,
All right, I guess it must be a dude,
I do want to find
but it's a
out.
good-looking dude.
It's a good looking dude, just face down.
It's pretty wild. Yeah,
They are, some of them are hot. Thailand rules, huh?
it's a fucking awesome country.
The
But
fucking
besides the filth, there's
$10
great things
massages
too.
on
Yeah.
the beach.
Hmm.
You're going like just getting a great massage, just looking at the ocean. The food is so fucking good.
The food's good. The snorkeling, everything's so
Oh
cheap.
yeah,
You
scuba
can
and
stay in like
snorkeling.
5-star hotels for like $100 a night.
I did this is an old special, but like I was doing the math on like you do conversion math when you're spending
Mm.
money, right? So wherever you get to a country, you're like, all right, 100 is $3. What's $10 American, or what is 100 of their currency? So if
Yeah,
100 is three, I'm like every 100 is $3.
yeah.
So if it's 300, I know it's $9. Um, or whatever that thing is. You know, if it's Australia, it's like every $10 is
Mm.
$9. So be careful.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm doing the math. I'm like, wait, how much is this beer? And my friend's like, Ari, it's free.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
fucking
$2
free.
or
What is
something.
it?
Yeah,
12 cents or 18
yeah.
cents? Just it's free.
In New York, it's like $13
Oh
probably
my
for a beer now.
God. Coming home from other places and being in the most expensive city in
Hmm.
America, you're like, what do you $14 for a cup of soup?
Yeah, right.
What? I could own this town for $14 I was just in.
Yeah, can you buy Thailand?
Yeah.
What's
God,
your
it's so
do
good.
you have a favorite place you traveled to or no? Too many great places, hard, huh?
Yeah, favorite's a tough word. But I mean, I like getting my hands real dirty. So like my first trip to Thailand was that, and then after a while, Thailand became too tame for me.
Too tame. So you gotta go
Yeah,
to Cambodia.
yeah, Cambodia, East
Take it up a
Timor,
notch.
Myanmar and East Timor, like they're like real. There's no carpet laid out for fucking tourists.
Yeah, because Thailand's so touristy. It's beautiful, but tourists everywhere.
Yeah. So I got from Myanmar and I avoided Bangkok the second time I went. And I went from Myanmar, which is just nothing set up for tourists. There's nothing. It's all regional, like local
Mhm.
stuff. They're like, "Oh, have this in the menu." Like, we're out of that. I'm like, "How about this?" Like, you're too late. I'm like, "Well, just what do you have left?" It's poor and it's fucking great. And you fly straight to Chiang Mai, and then all of a sudden Burger King ads and shit like that. You're like, you didn't realize for the last month you were completely free of Western ideas,
Yeah.
and then it's like it just hits you so hard. You're like, "Fuck."
No, it's great going to countries like that that aren't that touristy yet. And
And they don't see you as like a food source for them.
hmm
They just like, "What are you doing in town, white man?"
yeah, right. I like going to those places. Like even like Bali, which is extremely tourist. If you go like outside some of the small
Yeah, you don't
towns,
go to Kuta
yeah, but if
Bali.
you go out to the smaller villages, they're following you around the town because not you seeing white people there. All the
Yeah,
kids are
little
trying to take
kids want high
pictures.
fives.
Yeah.
Your high fives is
Hmm.
your currency for little kids in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're on like a moped and you see like in a, I forget where, maybe East Timor, like mulai, mulai,
Hmm.
mulai, whatever they for the word for white, and they're all like, "Which one?" You're in
Hmm.
nowhere, you know, and then you're like, and
I'm a
then they all
star.
line
Yeah.
up like this. You're like, "Pa, pa, 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 pa." As you go by, they're like, "We touched one." You feel like a fucking god. I taught one rock
Hmm.
paper scissors. Learned the
Yeah.
word for rock paper scissors. Katori, I forget what it was, and taught this kid. I'm like, "Teacher, teach the village," and he's
Nice.
like, "Wow,
Such a great game.
it's
Like,
such a good game."
hopefully they kept playing it. 'Cause
Universal,
I still play that.
yeah.
You can't decide something. Rock paper or scissors.
It works. It's
Yeah, like
so
sometimes you can't
clear.
decide something. Yeah, and it's fair.
It's fair. There's
Some
no
people are
cheating in
stupid
it.
though, and they always follow in the same patterns.
Yeah, they just start.
And you're like, oh, this person's too
I
easy,
love getting
especially
people's
women.
heads.
Sometimes they're just so easy.
You're definitely gonna do rock again. You just tied on
I
a
know
scissors.
you
That means you're
always do
going
rock.
rock.
Yeah,
I'm in your head, bro.
yeah. I've never been to China, but I see white people are pretty popular there too. You can like rent, like white guys with no money. They can get rented out by like really rich
For
people because
parties
they want
to
to like
have
show
one at your
off.
party.
Like I have a white butler. It's like a huge status symbol.
Yeah, I heard they were just like, if you're like a pretty white woman, like just come to the party. I just want you to be
Yeah,
there. It's like in Vegas actually when they have like a bunch of hot chicks come in to
yeah,
to your club. They
yeah. They
fly them
bring
in.
them in free.
Yeah.
New York. They pile all
That's
these
it.
women
Just
in.
a couple white people, and you're like, "Whoa, this is a
They like
status
hot
thing, huh?"
chicks. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you have Dick Cheney at your party. It's like, whoa, who do you know? It's like that version of that. Yeah, China rules though. It was the first like really foreign place I went
Really? Yeah, I've never been there.
where like it encapsulated the word foreign.
Hmm.
You're just like, this is all different.
Yeah, in a different way because Japan's so advanced. That was the first time I left the country. It's totally different than China, I would imagine, because but it was such a culture shock because it's just so different.
Culture shock's a good word. I haven't thought about it in a long time.
Yeah, I'd never been on a plane, and then me and Nick Diaz were flying out to freaking to Japan together.
Really?
Yeah,
To
and
fight?
yeah, both the fights out there, and there's corners to each other, and the Asians in Stockton are like crazy. It's like the Hong and stuff. So Nick's all like sketch with all the Japanese people everywhere. They put us in an area with like no white people, no
Right.
foreigners, no one spoke English. It was just like, where are we? This is insane.
Wow. It's so weird. That culture, you are like shocked. Like, this is all different.
So different in
It's
Japan.
like, it's not like you get off the plane in like Denver in February, like, oh, fuck,
Yeah.
it's cold. But like, I know what cold is.
Hmm.
This is like, I don't know how any of this works. I don't know if,
Yeah.
are you supposed to like look at people in the eye? Are you not? Are
Hmm.
you like, when do you cross the street?
No, yeah, like
All of it's just different.
how you ride the subway, how you get around. They don't like tipping there. It's like insulting if you tip them.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, I heard that once. Where it's in other countries. You're like, let me get this wrong. Like, what's that supposed to mean? Because you're a rich guy. I'm like, no,
It's just
no. It's just like
American, yeah.
you get the next round.
Yeah, I remember like where was I at? Norway. Like you buy some drinks, it's all like weird. No one, everyone buys their own stuff,
You try to buy a
own
chick a drink
food.
in
Yeah,
Denmark. She's like, why?
no, exactly.
I mean, if
Totally
you're
different
at the
culture.
bar, maybe, but like,
Mm.
you're not buying me.
Yeah, we're so used to
I make as
American,
much
like,
money as
okay,
you
I'll
do.
take this tab, and theirs like totally different.
Yeah, and then those are the cultural differences you learn. It's fun to learn them too.
Hmm.
But like, yeah, in like parts of Cambodia, they have this like everybody's a king thing. So like we'll be sitting around a bunch of people at a table, and like the king doesn't fill up his own glass. So like
Hmm.
you take some beer, pour it in my glass, and then that guy pours it in your glass. This guy pours it in his glass. That guy pours it, and no one fills up their own shit. Let me get you
Nice.
some more food, Jake. Let me get you some more food.
Yeah.
And then I don't have any. It's like, hey, all right, let me get you some food. It's like, oh, thanks. And it's just like you learn these things. They're just fun to learn.
Yeah, I recommend when young people, when they get any extra money, travel with it first before you even save it. Probably like when I first started making money,
Yeah.
I started traveling. I'm so glad I did.
Where'd you go?
I went all over,
Yeah.
Well, I would get some to fight, but I'd go places of my own, like Thailand, Costa Rica,
Costa Rica's
all over Europe,
beautiful.
all kinds of places.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just think traveling is like the best thing you could do.
I have a travel podcast now. You Be Trippin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we just talk about like a place.
Different place. You pick a spot and
It's just like where have you been, and then what'd you get into? So like different people have a
Mhm.
different experience. So like some people's like Thailand would be
Yeah,
I'm there to train
Muay Thai,
Muay Thai. Other people's like I'm there for the
bang lady
boys.
boys.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, okay, so you guys'
Yeah,
experience can be different. So
totally
you
different.
have your version of Thailand, you have your version, but like what'd you get into? And it's not about like here are the chief exports and here
Hmm.
are the sites you're supposed to see.
The fun they did there. She bring
Yeah.
like two people on to talk about a country.
I bring one person on, talk
Okay,
about their time in a country,
gotcha.
and then another person. So every time's
Mhm.
different countries. Some are repeat countries, but they're just different
Well,
stories.
that's actually interesting because
You get a little
different
travel
ideas
advice
are
if you're
cool.
about
Yeah.
to go, and then
Hmm.
and then some like, well, that's nothing to do with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
My mom's never gonna go to the ping pong show.
Yeah. Right. No, I'm not going to ping pong
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Surprising, there was a lot of girls at the ping pong show.
It well, 'cause it's like that strip club thing where it's like it's fun. So the Lady Boy show, the one I went to, the musical review,
Hmm.
was everybody. Everyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
That is, I think they go into a thing that's gonna be that musical review, but it's like this is darkness.
That's happened to me. It's like, oh, let's be fun. There with a bunch of friends. It was just like depressed looking girls that weren't hot enough to be the hookers. They doing
Right.
weird stuff. And then when they started shooting darts at me, I'm like, I'm out of here.
Bangkok in general, I
Phil.
hate it. It's like 8-year-olds at like 3 a.m. selling Viagra to tourists.
Hmm.
You're like, this is dirty.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange city. I've been there a few times. I hated it the first few times. Last time I was there with some locals, and I found some much better
You
spots,
found
better
your scene.
restaurants. So there
There's
can
that
be good
too.
things.
There's
Yeah,
that too. So if you go to New York and you just went to Times Square, you're like, I'd never go
exactly.
there. If you go to Vegas, you're like the Strip, you're like, do the locals go to
Hmm.
the Strip much?
When friends are in town, that's about it.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
show them the thing, but it's
Hmm.
like, oh, you're going to a different version of the place than is actually there. There's
Hmm.
there's cooler, but you don't go to the South Side of Chicago,
No,
you know?
unless you want to get shot.
Yeah, so it's like I'm sure that's what I got in Bangkok. I was
Hmm.
being shown like this is what
No,
you
no,
gotta see.
because I hated Bangkok the first couple times I went because it was just so much traffic. People were just in your face trying to sell you shit.
Oh, they try to sell you stuff so much. So coming from Myanmar, it's like no one was trying to sell me
Hmm.
shit. And then a lot like buy, do this. I'm like, I just felt like a wallet.
Yeah, exactly. And I hate it when people are in your face trying to sell you stuff. That's
Yeah. But of all of Asia, it's a good first place to go. If you're a little scared of
it's
Asia,
easy.
it's a
Lots of
good
tourists. Yeah.
entryway in.
Then hit like Vietnam or those
Yeah, then hit
places.
Vietnam. So start there a little bit, then like, okay, I think I got my feet grounded to like I can't read any of these signs. To then go Yeah, go to Vietnam, Cambodia,
I
some
think
like
that's
have
smart.
fun.
Yeah. You've been to Peru? That's a wonderful place too.
No, I was trying. I was in Ecuador for 6 months for the pandemic, but the
Mm.
land borders were all closed. Um,
Yeah, that
but
was.
I'm going next year.
Yeah, I had to fly in with a fake vaccine card right when they first started opening up.
Yeah, nice. Where'd you go in Peru?
Went into Cusco, which is kind of that area is awesome. It's near the Machu Picchu, but there's
Okay.
tons of stuff besides that. All kinds of like ancient ruins that seem to be, they seem far more advanced than the Incas probably could have done. Because 100 Spaniards took over the Incas. It's hard to believe that a civilization 100 Spaniards took over, built some of that rock work.
Yeah, I guess if you
And
have no enemies, you don't think you have to like
they also weren't building the rock work when the Spanish got there and didn't really know how to do it. So it seems like there was probably a more advanced culture beforehand.
get left earlier.
That's, I mean, that's a theory. I don't know for sure, and that's like kind of Graham Hancock's theory and stuff. Which,
Heard something on it where it's like they're using different energy sources. If you can go two different directions when you start,
mhm,
when you go from monkey to man, then you're like, okay. So if they're using like
mhm,
magnetic energy and
yeah.
we're using steam, we these two people can't even understand
Hmm.
each other.
No, that's very possible. People don't understand. They could have got completely different set of technology. There's not necessarily one
It's
way to
not
get the
based on the
technology.
same
Yeah,
thing.
they
Yeah.
could have based it totally different off
Yeah, electricity
sound or.
advances, 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 but like, yeah, if it's sound waves that they're
Mhm,
harnessing, then you're like, you have nothing
yeah.
here. My friend in Iceland was like, he said a lot of people are talking about like poor countries in like South America. They're
Hmm.
like, well, why don't they just use like volcanic energy? And you're like, because they don't have it. And they're
Yeah,
like,
right.
what do you mean you don't have it? It's everywhere.
Well, that's something interesting. It sounds crazy, but Nikola Tesla, who's one of the smartest men to ever live,
Yeah.
harnessed electricity. He believed the pyramids were like giant energy plants. I'm not saying he's right, but if someone that smart and understands electricity believes it, there's probably at least something to it.
Yeah.
I think something with the location and the way it's like built out, and
They have these, they're trying to do this thing like meeting for how to warn people in the future about things like nuclear waste. So you bury it way, way deep, right? Eventually, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 years, someone's gonna dig up every part of everything.
mm,
So you have to warn these people. So language, you can't put like "do not touch." The idea that English will still be around is kind of minute in 20,000
yeah,
years. You know, it'll be some other language. So that will
yeah,
mean nothing. You could have like a sign or something with like "no," but like then maybe that means like it's come into it. Like it doesn't necessarily. So you have to understand what they might be. There's one where it's like you see somebody getting old from radiation, but you're like,
mm,
will they read it that way or backwards? Will they go, "Oh, fountain of youth, an old man
hmm,
got young"?
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and it's trying to figure out how.
Yeah, it'd be so. Like I said, if you go so far in the future, people look at the stuff and not make it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, history's wild when you start looking at it 'cause we just know like little pieces of it.
it's a tiny little blimp.
People like they want to pretend like they know it when they don't really have any clue.
That's what you get on mushrooms. We're like, oh, it's a blink of an eye in this whole. You see the whole expanse of fucking time for a
Hmm.
second, and you're like, I'm not just there. I'm there to. It's like take that and then split that by 1,000, and split it by a
Yeah.
thousand again.
When I was in Peru, I was invited down to the Amazon to do ayahuasca,
Yeah,
but I kind of chickened out. Ayahuasca is such a heavy drug, and I think sometimes the guys that do a lot of ayahuasca, they say how great it makes them, but they seem a little bit buzzy. So I'm like, my life's pretty good. You guys look a little fucked up. I think I'm gonna pass on this one.
Shroomer people are like that too. Shroomer's people, I mean,
Yeah, they hype it up so much. I get all the
but like
time.
sometimes like you do it too much. I can tell you do it too much. You're weird now.
Yeah. Is what I get a lot of people that microdose jiu-jitsu. They're like, bro, it makes me so much better. And then I'll just destroy that person. And I'm just like, okay, if you tap me, I'll trust you. But I say tap you like I think it makes them like they don't realize how bad they're getting fucked up.
There was an episode of Facts of Life,
Yeah.
and the rich girl, I think, she had a paper to do. She got high for the first time. It was like, ooh, watch out, she
Mhm.
got it. And then she was like, I did my paper. I was like, really? You got it done? I was like, got it done. And then she like went to turn it in, and the teacher's like, there's one word per page on this, on your 7-page paper. And she's like, what? It's before I understood what weed is.
Yeah,
Like
right.
that's impossible. But like, do ayahuasca once.
Yeah. Have you done it?
Yeah, in the Amazon in
Is it like
Ecuador.
fun or more of just like
It's not fun.
that's kind of what I figured. And it was
It is
it was
not
kind of with
fun.
no warning. I was just like,
Dude, sometimes when people give you mushrooms, like, hey, you want to do mushrooms? You're like, I don't
mm,
have the energy for this right
mm,
now. It's so much mental energy for 5 hours that
yeah.
it's like, buddy, I can't. I've been busy on a paper, or
Hmm.
getting a project done. I just don't have it right now. I know what it's going to take, and I'm worn out already.
Yeah, I think like we're
Like,
talking about these drugs, but people need to be very careful with these drugs. You use them too much or the wrong situations, they can definitely fuck people up. They're
yeah.
intense.
What people don't do enough is the casual mushroom use.
Hmm.
Apply it to booze. Most people take enough mushrooms
Hmm.
to finish a bottle of Jack.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, just give me a shot and a beer. Let me get a little
Yeah.
buzz, and that's it. So do a cap and a stem.
It's funny. I didn't realize that because I used some when I was young, but I would take like large amounts because we were like young and dumb. Like, oh, you gotta
Yeah,
eat
let
an
me
eighth.
go for it.
And then not, a few years ago, I started realizing, oh, I can just eat a little bit and
Just
get a
eat,
little, and just kind of be a little bit off
and
and be able
then
to
I
control
think you're an
myself.
introvert. I might be wrong, but I think,
I think an actual little bit.
yeah. So like at a party where you're uncomfortable, I don't know anybody.
Hmm.
You get that, and you're like, so you
Yeah.
work in HR? Is that cool? Like,
Yeah. Right.
do
All of a
people
sudden,
come to you with like interesting ideas?
yeah,
Just
you're
like fun?
interested with
Yeah,
something you'd
you're
never be
interested in
interested
people.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, a small amount.
But yeah, a small amount, too much, you can be like, oh shit.
Nibble. Yeah,
You
that's
start
that's
tripping
got
out on
its time
people.
also. There's no tiny amount of ayahuasca.
That's kind of what I
It's
figured.
taking you.
Yeah, that's why I didn't go and do it because it wasn't much of a warning. I'm like, do I want to drive to Amazon right now? But I'll do it at some point.
You got to set your mind for it. I would suggest also there's a few things I did right, and one of them was I was in the Amazon for I'd already been there once, and then I was in there for like 2 weeks before, so I really felt connected to
Mhm.
like the breathing of the fucking the jungle and like
Yeah, I was told you really should do it in Amazon because that's the birthplace of it. I don't know. They might just be saying that. That's what people are telling me to
he
do it.
showed
Right?
us where they cut it from.
Mhm.
He was like, "Let me show you the plant. We planted this 80 years ago. My grandfather
Yeah.
planted this. We cut it from this and ground it down into whatever." And we're like, "Oh, it's just you feel more connected to it instead of somebody's house in like
Yeah.
Topanga."
And like a lot of these shamans are total scammers too now,
Yeah, I think down there's some too,
but less
but I
probably.
think it's less, and I think it's like they're like, "Oh, they're doing it for money." I'm like, "Mine was $80, and they fed you breakfast
Yeah, so it's
and
not
drove you
a.
out there and stuff." So it's like, yeah, it was great. They make you go into a waterfall first to cleanse yourself.
Mhm.
Like they have all these. I don't listen. I don't believe any of this stuff, but also like I'll do it your way. They gave you warnings too of like
Mhm.
no certain things that say you can't have before and after as well for a certain amount of time. Every tribe is different, but just trust your tribe.
Yeah.
So some of them like you have to fast for a week, only eat like nibble on food after sundown. Others like nah, just skip breakfast that day, or no chemicals for the last like 2 days. No like Fritos and
Yeah.
stuff. Um, no red meat for mine was no red meat, and then
Mhm.
afterwards was like no sex before, and then no sex for 8 days after, no chemicals like that for 8 days after, no red meat. I was like, smoke a cigar? No way. He goes, no, for sure, smoke a cigar. That's fine. I'm like, I don't know any
Yeah,
of
you don't know
this.
the rules. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, it's a sister drug, but he goes, don't fuck with it. I'm not joking.
Hmm.
You're gonna feel better 6 days later. It's still active in your system. I'm just telling you, don't fuck with it. You're gonna be. I get it. You're gonna be like,
Hmm.
we already did it. I already got everything
Yeah.
out of it. If they tell you 8 days no sex,
Listen,
it
yeah.
means 8 days no sex,
Hmm.
and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
He goes, there was one where this couple was there, and they were like, had all these great revelations and stuff, and then it was like 6 days out, like, all right, we're good. Let's
Yeah,
fuck.
we were close.
Started fighting, broke up,
Yeah, should have listened.
and he goes, there's 1,000 of those stories.
Yeah.
It just cleanses you.
You've just done it one time though, right?
One time, and they go, do you want to come back tomorrow and do it again? Like in the morning, like, do you want to do it? Some people do it 4 nights in a row.
Jesus, that's got to be intense.
The guy who told us, the guy we found,
Hmm.
who told us about it, he said he did it once somewhere and he goes, it wasn't good. And then he did it with this guy that he told us about 3 days in a row. He said he
Hmm.
liked it because the shaman was doing it with you.
Hmm.
So on heavy mushroom chips, that's what it is. Like you're gonna be fucked up. I'm gonna do a little bit so I can have a foot in both
Yeah.
worlds. I can like talk to you on a mushroom. So it's that. He said by the third day he saw how and when he was going to die.
Dang.
He goes, I'm going to be 49, I'm going to die in water. I was like, oh, that sucks. He goes, that's fine. He was like
You
22.
can't
He
be
goes,
accepted.
that's
Yeah, it's fine.
forever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm 47
Yeah,
at the
for
time. I
me
was
that's
like,
for
what do
me
you
that's
mean?
like next year. So
Yeah.
no.
But he was totally at peace with it. And he like
Mhm.
saw that his death. And I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, it's
I saw clarity, but not like that.
yeah, I've never heard anyone say it's a light drug, and that's why it was like a 2-day warning. I'm like, I think I'm gonna pass on this. I need a little time to
Yeah, you need
reflect on
time
it.
to get
I
worked
went and
up
did
for it.
DMT instead, which is similar, but it's like 5-10 minutes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
not
I
puking.
had
You're
like
not.
a month of getting ready for this time. Like,
Yeah, and that's what I figured. I'm like, I'm not just gonna jump down and do ayahuasca.
would you be into doing it with the proper prep?
I would. I just the only thing is my life's pretty good, so it's kind of like if I don't have anything I'm battling, is it worth doing?
So he said the guy who took us there, I call him like a familiar, you know, like the vampire term.
Hmm.
So he did it, loved it, it changed his life,
Hmm.
and he goes, everyone needs to do this. And it was his town, I don't want to say which one in Ecuador, and he was on a chamber of tourism, or maybe he was on the chamber of commerce, but he spoke to the chamber of tourism. He might have been on it, and he goes, we should be the way we separate ourselves from the Amazonian towns, the big cities in the
Hmm.
Amazon. There's like Tena, Puyo, there's a few. cool. Anyway, he goes, we should be the ayahuasca one. And they're like, fuck that. We're not having a bunch of drug addicts show up. He goes, there's no addicts. There's no ayahuasca addicts.
Hmm.
That's just not a thing. And they're like, no way. But they all have like indigenous roots. Most of them are like half indigenous to more.
Yeah.
So they've all done it. And so the ones who hadn't, like, can you do it? Like, they're not like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
They just don't want that. So they do it, and then they go, nope, you're right. No one is going to come to just like break into cars here for this.
Yeah.
So he just wants people to do it. He goes, he's done it like 30 times.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets, there was one, he said there was a Sicario, some hitman who was doing it.
Oh, damn.
And he just saw what he was.
Realized that
And
he's not a good person.
Screaming
Yeah.
and punching the ground.
Damn.
He goes, what am I? What am I? And just screaming. And then
That'd be kind of
finishes
scary.
the next day. He goes, okay, how you feeling? He's like, not great. And he's like, I'm done with that. I'll never do that again. But they won't let me go, so I have to start planning faking my own death.
Damn.
He goes, they're never gonna let me go, but I can't do that anymore. And he goes, also his son did it. His son was 17 or 19. He goes, he wanted to do it, so he goes, okay. And anyway, in the native tribes, it's a normal coming of age ceremony. Your shaman goes, I need to see you next Tuesday, just like a principal would.
Yeah.
I need to have a talk with you. The mom's not like, ooh, it's like, all right, the shaman says. So, and everybody's done it in the tribes. Like literally, so it's this kid's time to do it. He's 19, grew up half indigenous, half whatever, and then he was just like, that was cool, because he said he had nothing to work out, he had no pain.
Yeah,
so
you don't need to work out. It's like,
well, I guess I did want those other shoes, but who cares, really, right?
That was easy. Yeah. It depends on where you're at in life, I guess. If you're battling something, if you're not.
Yeah.
That's saying you don't want to maybe bring up something that wasn't a problem, or maybe it was a problem you didn't know about too. But maybe you have a problem that you buried.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the fear. It's like, okay, do I want to dig up problems that I've gotten rid of? I don't know. Tough decision.
I'm having trouble now. I'm like changed it a little way. I have trouble fighting with people now. It's just like, this just isn't
just like arguing or what? Just like,
yeah, I just have no, I used to be way into golf, and then now I'm just not. People are like, want to play golf? I'm like, not really. I just don't want it. And those fights would happen all the time in comedy. I just have no appetite for it.
Like fights in comedy where you're going after each other.
Yeah, I just have no appetite for it.
You got to really want to do that, I think, for it to be funny. If you're not that motivated to do it, that's probably pretty tough.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, I hope you find your way.
But yeah, you got to follow when you change too. If you're not having desire to do something, you got to change the bit you're doing. Or if you're sick of stand-up, go to podcast. You kind of follow what you're into.
Yeah, it's tough to hear like a 60-year-old comic do fuck stories.
Yeah.
But a 28-year-old comic, this goes perfect, you know. Yeah, you gotta
follow where your life is. You know, you can't do the exact same routines, I would imagine.
Yeah, I just want to like make good things now. Yeah. So then when somebody's like arguing, I'm like, this is actually just gonna get in my way. I haven't thought it out. I just no appetite for it anymore. So it's less funny in terms of those like
so for the arguments,
public arguments. That is a funny part of comedy. I just like.
But you have to like want to go out there and battle, which I know you're good at it. But if you don't want to do it, it's like because you're pretty good at the funny, witty, like
exactly. Like I can be good, but I gotta
you're like
want
a Tony
it. Like, let me at him. Let me at him.
And I'm like,
I'm just waiting for people like, hey, I didn't mean anything. Like it's all forgiven.
Yeah. The other day I watched what was it? What's the Jew special?
Jew.
Pretty funny.
Thanks.
Pretty relevant. I got hit for anti-Semitic speech saying some of the same shit as you.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So funny.
There's a lot of stuff in there. I got complaints over the years working it out.
Do you ever get Jews mad at you for some of the stuff you say, or not really?
Very small amount.
And they don't matter,
There's I think this thing I call hate speech, where it's not what you call hate speech, what people call hate speech. It's people who are just looking for things to hate.
Yeah.
And that is the woke left. They're on it too. Like, well, this Trump said this. Like, you're just a hate magazine. You're just looking for things to be mad about. What have you given me that's good? You hate the right. What's good on the left these days?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you don't have enough women on your show. Well, tell me a good woman. Promote a woman instead.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's all hate speech, people. So besides that, minor, from what I heard was, because I have relatives in the like Orthodox community.
Those are the ones you're probably a little worried about.
They were like worried. Yeah. They were like, here's a former, very religious Jew doing a secular special called Jew. They're like, fuck. This is the last. It was right when Kyrie Irving and
the
Kanye were coming out hard, and it was like, this is what we need now. And then they go, oh, it was great. Yeah. It was actually very pleasant and nice. They were like, far too much cussing, but besides that, they're like,
and telling us about how we think about the goyim.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I was happy with that one.
Yeah, but I seen something where you were ranting about someone asked you to Jews run the music industry, something I got in trouble for, and it's like obviously, or the hip hop industry. It's
Yeah.
like apparently I'm not supposed to say that.
Yeah, when Kanye was talking about the Jews who were telling this, I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, I've actually been making that joke for a long
yeah,
time. My Jews, I call my agent my manager,
hmm
and and for years, and my agent isn't Jewish, but I
yeah,
say he's part of the Jew arts.
yeah,
He's like he's one of my Jews. That's what he
yeah,
means by it. That's what he
yeah,
meant by it. And everyone came out against so hard. Then he's a little schizo, and he went
yeah.
harder in. But like, that's all he means. Like,
Yeah, I think when you come after people too hard, it makes them actually more
I'm
anti-Semitic.
gonna
Like
go
when you
play
shut
bat.
down,
I'm gonna go
when
down. I
instead of
have a
just talking,
basketball.
yeah, they
Yeah,
shut down your banks, they do this shit. It's like, okay, that's actually going to turn people
that's gonna
anti-Semitic.
turn them harder. I tell all these people want to do this anti-Semitism shows.
hmm
I'm like, guys, this is creating more anti-Semitism.
hmm
The bitching. I've seen it in every other world. They're super racist now against
hmm
blacks, are because they're like, well, I've never done anything. They're saying it's so hard for them. And
hmm
look, there's always, but we're living in a great time. This shit just makes people angry that people are
Yeah.
complaining, especially the people who are like doing badly.
I think yeah, the more you do, if someone says something, just go talk to them, be normal, and they're like, okay, a lot of Jews aren't bad. Maybe there's a few Jews I don't like. Maybe I hate this Jew who screwed me over, and maybe there's a few Jews running the music industry
Yeah,
that
hey,
I
can I
don't
talk to
like.
you? Yeah.
But
I've had very rarely in stand up, I've had somebody say, hey, can I tell you, just do whatever you want, but can I just tell you, like, as a rape victim, that the joke just made me feel off. So, like, just so you know what you're doing to one audience member, like, or they'll be like, hey, you said a big dog, you said Chihuahua, that's wrong. Chihuahuas are small. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks for telling me. But not like, fuck you, don't make rape jokes.
yeah,
It's just like, hey, I'm just letting you know how I felt. And they're like,
you're way
huh,
more likely to listen if
yeah,
somebody yells at
I
you.
don't want to make an audience member feel like that. So maybe there's another way to say that. Maybe another way to write that joke.
If people come up to you and talk to you like man to man like that, versus they come and yell at you or try to get you fired or
Does
deplatform,
yelling ever get your way?
yeah,
Just go, hey, watch it. Do you ever be like, you're right, sorry,
hmm
with that kind of attitude?
no. That's people don't understand. If you come to talk to someone and politely tell them what you don't like, a lot of times they'll listen and have conversations with you.
So I was in the car with Tony and Matt Egger in San Diego a long time ago. Some
hmm
black dude crossing the street turned green. He had like halfway to the
hmm
middle, and and then turned green. I was like, what the? And he just turns and he goes,
Yeah.
like, my bad.
I go, okay,
And it was
yeah.
like, oh, okay,
Okay, yeah, it's cool.
yeah, cool, yeah,
That's all
you
you
get
gotta do.
it.
My bad. We're
Yeah,
good.
yeah, we've all been there. Then
Yeah.
it's not like fuck you. Then it's like, what are you trying to fight
No,
for?
for the most part, you people just go, no, on my bad, and you get along fine.
It's not the way Martin Luther King. The only way to fight darkness through light.
hmm
And everyone's like, he was wrong on this one. Like, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Right.
He's way smarter than us.
Right. Wild times.
It's funny to just step back and like watch it all. Every side fighting with each other when you don't have a side.
Yeah, the whole right versus left, because I'm not really, I was
Me too.
leaning right, but now I'm not really to feel like Holmes either. People get mad at you. You're not voting for Trump. I'm like, I don't know. Probably I might vote. I probably
I'm
won't.
not
Like,
voting at
why?
all.
Yeah, exactly. People get mad at you.
Your
Like,
state's decided. I live in a state that's decided
yeah,
already. So like, what do you care if I don't vote?
yeah. I'm actually in a swing state, but like, why do they think they have a right to tell me
Also,
who to vote for?
yeah, exactly. And also, one vote mathematically in a
Yeah,
swing state
probably not
also
make a
doesn't.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not like fuck. We're tied. You got to get in here,
hmm
Jake, and settle this.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, I can say I like Trump a little better, but there's so much you don't like about him. So why? And they try making all these excuses. Like the dude closed down the country. He printed all this money.
Yeah.
He's done so much bullshit. And they're trying to swear like, oh, he's great. He's great. He's going to save America. Did he save it his first 4 years?
That's so I live in the liberal world, so I go harder at the liberals because
Yeah, yeah.
that's who's at my face.
Yeah, I have
If I lived
I have
here,
conservatives in my
then
face
you
as
go
well.
with
I
that,
think he's in the
right?
fight world and stuff, which I'm still leaning more towards Trump, but they're just in my face like I have to go vote for him. It's like, fuck off.
And you can't even mention one bad thing. You can like one
hmm
candidate or the other, but you're not even allowed to mention I don't like this one thing.
hmm
That in what other world does that work? Where I
No,
can't be like Jake Shields, one of the greatest jiu-jitsu MMA fighters of all time.
yeah,
His punching needs a little work,
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
But it's like you can't even say that. I go, no, everything's good.
Yeah.
You can't. Then you'll never improve.
No, they
You'll
look
never
like,
hold your leaders accountable.
yeah, they want to treat them like they're gods, and we should criticize them to make them better.
Yeah, I mean, in the primaries, so whoever wins this is going to be the one you vote for if
hmm
you're on that team or that team. One's better than the other. Like, so what do you like about that one that you didn't like about that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, and I don't buy into the whole right versus left bullshit.
Oh,
So
all
to
these
keep
people are
divided.
like, Biden's great, and now he's gone. He's like, well, he was senile. I'm like, he was senile the day before you said that too.
hmm You know, if someone's really an idiot, if they believe in every single policy of one campaign, it's like you're clearly not thinking for yourself. If you believe every single, maybe there's one or two people in the world that actually do independently,
That
but it's yeah,
specific, yeah, no
yeah,
way. Yeah, it's like so I get people like Trump's the worst, and I'd say, well, so this is what I was gonna say. I was like, so now they're like, if he wins, it's the end of the world. I'm like, well, he did 4 years, and it wasn't the end of the world.
yeah,
I know you're
exactly.
like, well, this was bad and this was bad. I'm like, Okay, but not that into the world that you guys are
No.
selling. So why will it be this time?
And same with Kamala. Like, we can't do 4 more years with Kamala. I'm like, it's not great, but it's not that bad
Yeah,
either.
like what are we talking about here?
Neither
We're in a
one. Neither.
fucking
Yeah.
podcast studio
My life was the
making
same
money.
in both. My life's good.
Yeah.
If you think the president's going to change your life, you got some problems.
Yeah, like are we in work camps now?
No, we make our own lives. It's not the president. It makes a slight difference, but it's not that big of a deal.
I mean, look at it now. He's not even. We don't have a president right now,
No, that's so
and
weird,
nothing's
right?
falling to shit.
Yeah.
So that job is not even
We literally
running
don't have a
everything.
president.
Yeah, so it's like that's like a figurehead to all the branches that do everything.
Right. It's funny thinking that we don't have a.
We
That,
do
that's
not
really
have
good
one.
for the conspiracy people because it's like, okay, clearly the president does not run anything.
Yeah, they're like, let him run. Like, they wouldn't say, let him just stay in if he really needed to get stuff done.
No, they're just like, yeah, we got it already.
He's let him coast out. You ski at all?
Snowboard.
Snowboard. So you know how like when you're on too steep a mountain when you're younger and you're trying to go way back and forth, it's too steep. But then at some point you're like, I got 100 yards left.
You have
I
to
can
kinda
straight line
charge,
this because it's gonna even out.
Yeah.
That's where he is right now. He's like, let's just let him run it. He's
Just let
done
him
in
run it
6
out.
months.
Yeah, a couple months.
Yeah.
It's surprised he made it through the whole term.
Me too.
And they were trying to push him again.
I mean, in the beginning they were like, he'll do 2 years, hand it off, just to get rid of Trump. I don't understand any of this. I don't care for it. It's funny to watch everyone yell.
Yeah, and get mad. They want you to jump on their side, and like I was in liberal cities before, and they would get so mad because then I tell them I was voting for Trump just to watch him melt down.
Yeah. So when people, my liberal friends come at me, they go, Trump's terrible. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm actually bored of politics, but I will listen to you. But you have to start with, in 4 years, tell me 3 things Trump did good. Just 3. And they can't even name one.
Yep.
They refuse to even name one.
Yeah, same for Biden. Most people can't name anything they did good.
So it's like, so we're not having an honest conversation then. If someone is, let's say, passed 100 bills, 3 good ones, 97 bad ones. That's one of the worst of all time presidents. So you can't name me 3 and make him one of the worst of all time. You can't name 3 good things from either side. Then you're retarded.
Yeah, the
funny we're not talking.
I can't name 3 good things from either.
Yeah,
I think we got like a slight tax cut under Trump.
There were, I'm sure there were, but like I don't know enough to tell. Right, so it's like, fuck. Give me one then. 3 is too much. Tell me one legitimately good thing the other person did.
But they'll swear he's going to change their life, or she's going to change their life.
Yeah, and it's not.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, where do people find you? Your own podcast.
Podcast. You Be Trippin. It's out now. Just started like 15, 18 weeks ago.
Nice.
I'm loving it.
That's the one about travel, right?
Yeah.
Actually, check that out. That sounds really interesting. Something different.
Yeah. It's like, it's on we just kind of stay, every time we're like, oh, and one time I was doing this, I'm like, let's get back to Cambodia though.
Yeah.
You stay on this topic, it goes about an hour, but no real time to hit. People have their pictures from when they were there, like adds to it on the video, especially if it were like, they went when they were like 19. You see like people with like hair. Greg Fitzsimmons had all this hair in Ireland.
Oh, wow.
He's so bald now. It's like, what?
Yeah, things have changed.
Yeah, and it's just like, I'm just like, I like hearing about, the people who travel like hearing about travel.
Yeah, so I think traveling is a must, something people should do. But we need to wrap this up because we got to get you back. I know you got to start that Skank Fest.
Got to do some drugs.
Yeah, do some drugs, Skank Fest.
Time is ticking. Yeah.
So yeah, just real quick, let people know where they can find you, like your podcast.
Yeah, You Be Trippin is my new pod, about 16, 18 episodes in, 20 episodes in, something like that. It's going great. Instagram at Ari Shaffir. And
you kicked off Twitter.
Passed out in the street in New York pretty much weekly.
Every time. Yeah. You do a lot of comedy in New York still?
Yeah, every night, 5 times a night.
What clubs are you going to?
The Stand, New York Comedy Club, The Cellar. Those are my main ones.
I loved New York. You just a random night, stop by a comedy club, and just see all these good comedians coming by.
Yeah, and it's like sparring for us. You do it, who cares? Go to the next one, do it, do a little better, tweak a joke, go to the next one, just instantly. It's the best city in the world.
Yeah, because hanging out with comics, I learned like you guys, that's how you learn. You get like your lasered in sets, but then you also go and just mess around with the crowd some to like learn new material.
See what I can get out of this. Yeah,
see when they're gonna laugh. That's
like Rogan said, Eddie wouldn't give him his black belt, and he's like, why? He goes, I don't know how good you are off your back because you're too strong, so you're never on your back. So I don't know if you're good or bad off your back. So Joe had to like pull people on him so he could train for it for a while.
That's what I had to do because I was wrestler, always going top, so I had to just start pulling guard every time.
Yeah, what are you going to do if you're in the opposite? I've never done this before, so it's like you have to learn it. So that's what we're doing all the time. Let me mess with the crowd. Let me try to tweak. Anyway.
Yeah, you went to Joe's club, right? I think it's really cool how he has that big room where he comes and does like the polish sets, and then the comedians will go back and mess around in the small room because I'd never really seen anywhere like that. It's like that's kind of cool.
Fucking rules.
Yeah, so I watched.
Fun. We're all there having. It's like, god damn, it fucking rules.
Yeah, like, I don't know a lot about. Well, actually, I learned a decent amount about comedy hanging out with you guys. But it was so
Yeah.
cool seeing like their polished sets in the big room, and then the same guys step back and they're just like driving around with the crowd in the small room.
Yeah, or you do the smaller, you do like a riffing set. You're like, actually, hey, can I get a spot in the big room? I want to try that now in a real
Yeah,
crowd.
it seems like big comedians kind of just randomly pop by.
Yeah.
Definitely a cool thing he has going. But yeah, let's. I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
All right. Thank you guys. Suck tits, lick ass.